And we're back. If I could just figure out how to work everything. Yeah, part two. I found the image, so I'll be able to pull that up. And I want to finish up. I was reading a few of the comments after we got off live, and there's somebody named Julie who has had some procedures done, an MRI, CAT scan, and a nerve test and a muscle test. And I have to say, sweetie, from having a nerve test done myself, that is considered an invasive procedure. The electrodes that they put on us, they have like needles and they stick them in us and they send jolts of electricity and to see, what nerves are damaged. And that's how they were able to determine the extent of the damage to my right leg and my left arm. And that is about one of the most uncomfortable procedures that I've had done. An MRI, however, can be considered a procedure or a lab type of a test. Did you have it with contrast and without contrast? If you had it with contrast and without contrast, that is a procedure because they injected you with a dye that goes through your bloodstream in order to enhance the images that they get. And also the same with the CAT scan. If it was with contrast and without contrast, that would be a procedure. So I know these things because of when I was hit when I was 15. It was CAT scans that they had run on me with contrast and without contrast to find the extent of the damage and the location of the bleed. When that incident happened, and the other I know of because of when the drunk driver hit me, the damage was so significant that it radiated all the way down. I couldn't feel my fingers, or they would pulsate all the time, and like a sharp shooting pain all the time down my arm. And they stuck these things all over my body and jolted me with electricity to find out how the nerves were responding. So I wanted to get that part of the way, that I did see those comments. And also I saw that Allie Berry was here with us, and she's pretty awesome. I was listening to her on Voynish's show earlier. So, and she got brave enough to go on and chat on his, and she just sounds like a sweetheart too. Everybody is so flippin' nice. Just so freaking nice. When you strip us down to our bare bone, all that's left is kindness. We want to be kind, and we want people to be kind to us. We want to be respected, so we show respect. We want to put out what we want to bring back in. It's a give and take relationship that we're all in. It's symbiotic. We work together, and when we come out of the dog eat dog, or we need to fight with one another in order to accomplish anything, things change dramatically. I also found that image, it goes up to 900 on mine, or I'm sorry, 700, and then 1,000 is above, because I know that there is levels above the crown. But when you go, it talks about the 7, which would be 700. And when she said over 300, she's exactly right. Exactly right. She had it spot on. And I wanted to clarify that when we were talking about viruses, in order to catch a virus that you do not know of, you have to be vibrating at the level of a virus. But if one is being fed to you into your consciousness daily and day out, day in, day out, you can manifest that within yourself, just like a commercial advertising any kind of medication or anything of that nature. You hear it constantly going on. And I've often wondered, I don't know how long they've been doing it, at least for the past decade. They started advertising prescription medication. And it never made sense to me. Why would you advertise prescription medication? Why? You can't go into your doctor and with a grocery list. I've never been to a doctor where I can go in with a grocery list of pharmaceuticals and pick and choose what I want my doctor to prescribe. Every doctor I've ever seen, maybe I've been blessed, has been, they'll listen to what's going on and figure out and treat my body as a whole the best that they can. Now, I've had some doctors that just want to give injections and things of that nature because that's where they make their money. And then when I went in for regular appointments, they were cruel. The first pain management doctor that I had, I didn't think I could change. I thought once you were referred to one, that's where you had to go. And first, my mom had to go with me, and she wouldn't even let anybody come back there with me. When somebody's on that kind of care, somebody else needs to be in the room. You need to have a good set of ears to hear what's going on. And she would reprimand the women, and then we could hear her talk to other patients in other rooms. But the men, she talked to differently, and it was really odd. And then it got to the point where even my dad was coming down, and I would dread going to that appointment, just absolutely dread it. And it was a good 45-minute drive from our house, and it's terrible. But the reason my dad was going is because my mom would come back and flip out over what this person was doing and saying. She's chasing me down the hallway, yelling at me and saying these horrible things. And my mom's in the waiting room listening to other people are out there, you know. And then this is funny. You guys are probably going to get a kick out of this. After, let's see, I stayed with her for about 8 months because I didn't know I could change. So I put up with her. Well, she really was harder on women. She was real easy on the men, real hard on the women. And then I found another one, and I contacted him, and they were in the same city. And he got me in a week where I had to wait almost 6 to 8. It was about 6 to 8 weeks. So when I got referred, it was 6 to 8 weeks before she could see me. I contacted this other one who does it full time, actually works for Social Security. He got me in a week. The first thing he said is, "Oh my gosh, you are so undermanaged right now." And, I told him I had gotten the injections and everything that was going on. But he had a little dog, and his little dog worked in the cancer ward. He was a therapy dog. And this little dog, if something was going on in the waiting room, he would come out and he would walk straight up to the person that was in trouble. This little dog was the sweetest little thing, and he came over and he jumped on my lap. That doctor called me straight back. And after I had seen him for a few months, that little dog used to paw at my door when I was back there. He always wanted to be wherever I was at. He's a therapy dog. He's a comfort dog. But he helped this doctor to weed out the true from the seeker. So, and this dog was amazing. I wanted him. I wanted to take him home. He worked with cancer patients, and now he worked with pain patients, and he knew exactly what he was doing. And he also helped the doctor to make determinations. So, yeah. So then he dealt with the whole body. He was a whole body doctor. So that made a huge difference. And after I was seeing him, I'm thinking 8, 9 months, I got this letter. We were getting transferred out here at that time. And I got this letter in the mail, and it said, "Due to lack of interest in doctors no longer doing referrals, I have to close down my practice." And I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought it was the second doctor because the names of their clinics were closed. But then I looked a little closer and I saw that it was her. Well, of course you're going to get shut down. You're dealing with people who are hurting, and you have a service to offer. Don't go into a field unless you've got the compassion in your heart to take care of what field or what expertise, because that's all she saw. All she saw was chronic patients, and she just didn't have the heart or the compassion for it. She was cruel. If you didn't want to pay for those injections or let your insurance pay for those injections, they didn't work for you. Holy moly. Hell have no fury like a woman scorn. Anyways, So that one got shut down. But see, that's kind of how things work. If you're not doing something beneficial for humanity, if you go into a field because you think you're going to make a lot of money and you're not doing it for the right reasons, it seems like those crooked roads are being made straight. It's like we are going to a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness. And I do think the future of medicine is an energy work. I know that I'm very well aware of my setback, very well aware of my setback. When I lost her, I went through every kind of emotion, and it stunted things, didn't stop things. Remember, you guys, once the portion is given to you and gifted to you, and you've gotten as far as you've gotten, it's never taken back, and there's no repentance. It stays. You keep whatever you have resonated at. You will always return back to that level. But if you want to go higher or move on beyond that, I have to do some inner work. I still need to do some inner work. Doesn't mean I can't help people, because I understand. And I also understand what my inner work needs to be. It's just, sometimes it's not as easy to do as it is to say. You get your heart broke. So did you get the link, Myrna? And we'll see how many come back. Because I'm just power streaming, open chat. I want everybody to come in. We want to get onto the lighter side. We want to get into the, we talked about government encroachment. Let me share that while she's popping in. Did you get the link? Did it show up? I don't know if, I'm going to try to do it this way. Copy and then go into my theme. Or probably, okay, it's showing up in there. Let's see. There. It's going to be a different stream because I started a different stream. So when the government starts encroaching in, then we know we've got a problem. But we also know within us that when we are clean on the inside of our cup, we'll be clean on the outside. Just like these sky watchers, their heart or what is going on within them is mirror reflecting out and around them. And you're seeing these amazing, beautiful skies. Myrna talked about manipulation of weather. Okay. Now, the manipulation of weather is through her thought. She could blow wind. She could wash it away. She's not the only person that I have heard make testimony of being able to have these abilities. I have also seen where I had checkerboard skies, and I decided that they're not exactly what I think they are. And my skies turned powder blue, purple, pink clouds, white puffy clouds. And when I was doing my videos on my cell phone and speaking outside on my camera, sharing with you guys, the elements in the sky were fractaling out and doing all kinds of stuff. And I didn't even pay attention. I would just post them up for you guys and then move on. It was somebody else that brought them to my attention. They said, are you seeing how far your Merkaba is expanding out? Do you see when you're speaking what's going on in the sky behind you with the clouds? And I really took a close look, and I was like, oh my goodness. Wow. So I know I've told you guys this before. Take some footage of yourself, talking to the camera where you can see the sky and stuff behind you in your background. And then watch it back and see what's going on behind you in the skies and in your environment. See what's going on. Maybe surprised what you see, the mirror reflection from inside of you, outside. Of course, it depends on the topic, or what we're talking about, what you're resonating at. But no matter what you're resonating at, it's going to reflect and you're going to get affirmations. So it was a real mind bender. I had to look up what a Merkaba was when she brought it up. And then I got a confirmation about the Merkaba in a astral type of a situation where we get information, or as Myrna said, downloads. So when I went in the astral, it was brought up that, yeah, we all have a Merkaba. Most of us only use them twice in a lifetime. I'm going to make sure she's not in here yet. Okay. She's not. Okay. Most of us only use them twice in a lifetime. We come in and enter this vessel, and then we leave this vessel. But did you know that it even talks of it in scripture about Philip being transported by the Spirit after he baptized the eunuch to a country in a far land where he presumed preaching the gospel? And do you ever wonder what it was that Christ taught the 12 disciples when they were saying, where would we go when you have the answers to the kingdom of heaven? So he was teaching them things about themselves that were not being taught even in that time. And I know as Christians, we're brought up to think it's about the cross. And, it's finished. It's a finished work. Well, it is a finished work. It's a finished work that resides within each and every single one of us. But it's up to us to choose to finish the work. Still going to be some internal hygiene, some internal cup cleaning that we need to do in order to have it reflect outside of us. So anyways, yeah, I know you're on the cell phone, hon. All you have to do is click the link and it should, just like last time, bring you through. Can you see the link? So can I send the link? You can't see it? I wonder about this, if it shows up on my live feed or not. I'm going to change it over to live. Maybe if I put it on live, maybe it'll show up. Hold on. Let's try this. Let's try this. Now you see it? I put it in there 3 times, so I don't know. Do I have to make my own self a moderator in here in order to share the link? Because I should be able to share the link. I should be able to. I should. Okay. Invite. Let me see. Copy it to clipboard. Okay. I'm going to try to put it in here. Ha! Did it show up? Did it show up? Did you get it? Did you get it? Okay, in the meantime, let me, I want to screen share some, finish up with the, people are having problems with prescriptions. I have those links pulled up. I want to show you guys those really, really quick. And then, let me see, screen share. And I want to do, no. Hold on for a minute. And I will pull it up. Okay, let me see. Okay, I've got it pulled up in a different browser. Okay, this is pharmacies sued for discrimination against pain patients. National class action lawsuits have been filed against 3 of the nation's largest pharmacy chains for discriminating against pain patients trying to fill legitimate prescriptions for opioid medication. Class action complaints against Walgreens, Costco, and CVS Pharmacy were filed in California and Rhode Island on behalf of 2 women seeking legal relief that will allow them to get their opioid prescription filled without delays or restrictions and without fear that their prescriptions will be denied. This was filed on August 11th of 2020, very, very recent. So you can see that there are lawsuits being filed. And this, of course, I'm in California, so of course it's going to pull up the pertinent news for me on that. What's that? Oh, it's a news report. Okay. And new law requires pain agreement for mandatory drug tests mandatory drug tests for chronic pain. Now, this is for new chronic pain. So, like if you are injured now, like if you had an incident like I went through in 2007 when I got hit by the drunk driver, we broke my neck, my T-spine, and ruptured disc in my lumbar. They want you to be on, before you can be considered chronic, you have to be on the medications for 3 months. You sign an agreement at that time and you take a UA. I have never, ever been to a doctor or pain management doctor that has not had me sign a pain management agreement and take UA tests. So this is nothing new, guys. So don't think this is something new. But for you to be a chronic patient, it has to be greater than 3 months, and then you will fall into the exemption and not have to be chastened by these pharmacists that are chastening all of the acute patients. Could you imagine coming home from surgery and your husband is taking care of you and he runs to go pick up your prescriptions because he wants to get you home in bed? And when he gets there, he's denied to pick up the medication to keep you at a stable comfort level after just getting cut open? I mean, what the heck? And then here's the CDC guidelines for prescribing the opioid for chronic pain. So they have, here is where what I just explained to you. CDC developed and published the CDC guideline for prescribing opioids for chronic pain to provide recommendations for the prescribing of opioid pain medications for patients 18 years or older in primary care settings. Recommended focus on the use of opioids in treating chronic pain that lasts for longer than 3 months or past the time of normal tissue healing. So, and outside of that, the other exemptions are active cancer treatment, palliatory care, and end of life care. Hospice patients, you guys, that are depending on comfort measures, as they are getting ready to step out or being denied their medication by these pharmacists. It's not from the doctors not being compassionate. They're prescribing them. They're prescribing the patients according to the law. It's the pharmacists not interpreting the law correctly or interpreting the law the way that they want to. Like the pharmacist that I had to deal with that replaced the one that retired, he not only interpreted the law incorrectly, he even took what my doctor said my plan of care was and reworded it into something that it absolutely was not. So he's busted. Okay, let me stop screen sharing on that. I wanted to just share those with you guys so you know where to look. And this is just to help if anybody or that is having any kind of problems of this nature. If you are, or somebody that you love and they're going through something like this, what your rights are, what you're able to do, and to stand for them. And I know once I get the complete inner work done, with the age regression happening, my body restoring, and the healing that I've been through, that I'm sure I'll get to 100%. I know I will. I just got to get the inside of my cup clean. And Myrna, you are on. I pulled you in here with me, sweetie. Thanks for coming back.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yes, you were talking about some kind of lawsuits that you are in right now.
No, those were filed in August. This just happened to me 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
So this new 2020 law that pharmacists are misinterpreting, and they're abusing chronic patients when the new law is for acute patients. Acute, meaning short acting, going to recover type situations, not for chronic, not for hospice, not for cancer patients. It's sad. It really is sad.
I
but
don't know much about this subject, but
I
talking
didn't.
about lawsuits. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Talking about lawsuits. This year, I during a meditation, I saw this vision of or this I wouldn't call it a like a knowing or something that came in or even a thought. It might have been a human collective thought, and it was regarding lawsuits. It was almost like an idea. It was presented as an idea or something that will be coming about so many people filing for lawsuits, all kinds of different lawsuits against these corporations as more of these truths come out and people realize the injustice, and that's how some of that money will go into the hands of the people that have suffered some of this
Balance it
injustice.
out. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's they think pharmacies aren't making money. No, they're doing very well. But then the insurance needs to be balanced out. We think on it, we meditate on it, we do it, and we become proactive. We interact and balance things out for all. What's in the best interest for all people? Why are there the haves and the have-nots? Why are there some that would never be denied, but then others that are treated poorly? We're all equal, and when the equality comes into play, it'll be a different world.
I can't wait. I was when session ended last time, the last live stream that you had, I listened to it back to that noise that you were talking about at the end. And I realized when I heard the noise in that stream, when I went and played it back, I realized that that noise that you were hearing, that interference, I could not hear any of it on my end. And
Wow.
it's not the first time that happened. That was a
You had a
different party, by the
discharge.
way. It was a third party interference, I believe.
You know that when we have that empath thing, we're feeling everybody's energy and stuff. We blow out our electronics, blow fuse boxes. I was sitting out here
Oh,
doing nothing, and I blew the whole garage, everything that my husband and son were doing out front. I blew the whole house, and my husband was like, "What were you thinking? What were you doing in here?" And I said, "Nothing. I was just thinking about how much I loved watching you guys, and And then my heart started warming, and the next thing I know, everything went out."
that's possible too.
It does. It
Definitely
messes our.
possible.
We have to pull ourselves back in order to live stream and stay connected, because we will interfere. It's kind of. I mean, I'm laughing about it, but it's really not funny when it's happening. It's frustrating, but because it's all energy.
Yes.
It's all energy, and then when you're bursting out energy bursts, of course you're disrupting energy.
Yes. And that's what it was interesting about this work from Elena uh, Bensonoff that I was telling you about, the scalar technology, the soul frequency revelations, that the work that they're doing. It basically showing you the resonance of people, things. You can because everything is energy, so it has a, so that's kind of what they're tapping into. And what is interesting is that even when they did this, they did this, they used this method to reveal the frequency of Bill Gates, for example, and some of these so-called dark people that they consider, in a lower vibration. It reveals also that they were in their divine purpose.
Can you see the
100%.
image? Get down, you guys. I need these to
Oh,
get out of the way. Hold on. There.
I see
Now
that.
can
Yeah,
you
I
see?
see.
Okay. There's the emotion frequency expanded vibration scale of consciousness. Emotion equals energy in motion. Energy vibrates at a certain frequency. The law of vibration activates the law of attraction, and through the law of deservedness, you attract what you send out by your emotions you hold in your body. And then I'll let you go ahead and talk about the scalar or the scales, that because you already started naming them off verbatim: shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear. I think that's as far as you got, with listing from the bottom up. And then I'll let you, if you can read it, can you see it good enough, or do I need to put us full screen?
See, yeah, a little, okay, I see it. Correct. Okay. Neutrality 250. Yes. So based on this chart, is I don't know exactly how they come up with the results, but when you look at her work, and I did find her YouTube channel, it's called Holistic Elena Benson, and she explains a little bit. She explains somewhat how this technology, how this is revealed, how they come about these answers, these results.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the last shows that they did, it was to reveal the soul frequencies of alien beings, and it was. They also the results for the human being. And I was like I was sharing in the last stream, is that humans result, the soul frequency for the human was at 30 for courage.
Can you speak up a little bit, Myrna?
Yeah. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better?
I can hear you better. I just want to make sure the chat can. Oh, hold on a second. I'm going to mute my mic, so that way maybe that will help also. Hold on. Okay, and I'll let you finish. I'm muted. I full screened it so you could see it easier, and then when you're done, I'll be back.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I hope you can hear me. I was saying that the humans, the soul frequency is at 230, which is courage. And for relationships, the result was 230 also, courage. And personal growth, how how we are committed to personal growth, 750. And that is at enlightenment.
Yeah, that's past the graph. That's past where this graph goes. Awesome.
And creativity, we scored at a level of 700. I thought it was 750, but I looked at my notes and it's 700, which is also enlightenment. So we are divine creators. Intuition, we scored at 250, which I think is at neutrality. So I guess we can work on our intuition, but it's still, above the 200 threshold. And our divine purpose, what we were originally created for, our divine purpose, 94% of our divine purpose we are. At a personal purpose, the result was at 90%. Integrity, 75%. Compassion, 96%. Empathy, 100%. Energy purity, 64%. And we are in the dimensions 3rd, 4th, 5th. And as Elena reveal to you that some of the sessions she's done on certain people, they are already vibrating at higher frequencies of 6, 7, 8, and even 10.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So is this the scale close to what you were thinking of, or what you were talking about with the numeric values of, and what the different attributes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead
Yeah.
and are you done with it? I'll pull it down whenever you're done with it.
Well, I will share also the Arcturian results so you guys can compare, and also the Draco Reptilians. I have some of their numbers, not all of their numbers. The Draco Reptilian soul frequency is at 25. Wow, they're like.
Can you repeat that
literally-
again?
Yeah,
The number.
the Draco Reptilians soul frequency is at 25. Number 25. Which is
Oh, I wonder if that explains why you see them only like for a minute and then you never see them again. When your eyes get open into that realm, you see them for a second and then you never see them again because you're not resonating with them anymore. Huh. Interesting. Keep going. I'm listening.
Compassion, 5%. Empathy, 67%. So they are they are empaths, and that's how they can pick up on your energy and take so they can get to their advantage. Intuition, 20%. Energy purity, 9%, and they are in the second and third dimension. Relationships, they got 50%, number 50, which is manipulation. Now we will do, we'll do the Galactic Federation of Light. Their soul frequency was at 375. For relationships, believe it or not, their number came up at 55, which is manipulation. But manipulation can be used to steer one way or another. So you can manipulations through two different ways. Intuition also, though, they got 55 manipulation. So that's very interesting. Compassion was at 50%, empathy at 45%, energy purity at 47%, divine purpose, they are at 50%, and they are in the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension.
It's interesting. And like I said in the chat, I don't know what I think about off-world life forms. I think that we have the here and now, and we can manifest and we can experience. If we think that there's off-world life, we'll experience that. God said he created the angels first, but how do we know we weren't the angels that were with him that have come here to experience 3D life and then ascend up out of it? Come in to remember, to forget, to remember, and then to walk in, who we truly are. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. Some people call them guides. Some people call it higher self. Some people call it Holy Spirit, the divine within, that inner connection. I just kind of boil it all down to just different vibrations of energy that are sent out into the ether, and what we vibe or resonate with is what we pick up. But I'm not going to say that there isn't anything off-world, and I'm not going to say that there is, because I have not experienced that because I haven't put a lot of thought into it. Now, if I sat there and thought on it and I believed it, I probably would, because that's how amazing we are. We can have that experience. So I'm not for it, against it. I'm not going to say someone's not experiencing something that they sure as heck are. I'm not going to say somebody's not getting help from another off-worldly being, or however it is coming to them. It is so individual and so unique that the labels don't matter. But even though I, don't have anything in the game of off-world beings, that doesn't mean that my perspective won't change or evolve in time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people have not had aliens or had experiences with extraterrestrials. I have. So that's why I guess I'm open to that because of my own personal experience in 1994. And I believe that the beings that actually came into my room that day was a gray and a reptilian. But all of that was clear when I had my Kundalini. If they put implants, it basically purified every single thing. Even if I had entities attached, everything turned into light in one instant.
And that's what it boils down to, right? Light. We feel lighter. We're purging out anything that's heavy. We see bright light. We are bright light, and we are. It feels like we're lifting off the ground. Your light is air. I mean, what's going to happen to air travel and all of that kind of travel when we realize with our Merkaba we can move at the speed of thought at will? There's no use for having to get on an airplane or in a motor vehicle anymore. Or once we understand that the healing comes from within us. Our emotional damage is what's manifesting physically. We end up, figuring that out. We heal ourselves. We don't need hospitals anymore. You can see how life is going to change and just keep getting better and better and better. And hey, let's say maybe there is off-world. Well, if you want to travel there, you could travel there at the speed of thought and be there. Check it out.
Yes, and we do that when we're daydreaming. Just through our, kids daydream. They're kind of like in other places, and adults do too. We're constantly doing things that we're not even aware of our own power. I'm losing my brain, my thought here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, that's we were talking about one thing I wanted to talk about was, if you would be interested in talking, was about Jesus. Do you believe in Jesus?
Well, I'll say this. When I was 15, I was in a crosswalk, and there was two cars stopped that were heading west, and then we were coming from the north side in the crosswalk, and the two cars that were heading west stopped first because they seen us, and then the two cars on the other side stopped because they seen the ones on the west stop. I was almost to the center of the street, and I turned around because my friend, it was her 16th birthday, mind you. She's a sauner, she kind of saunters along. So I turned around and said, look, we need to step it up and get out of the street. We're holding up traffic. When I turned around to do that, I was in the middle of the street, and a little sports car driven by a 17-year-old girl came through the center lane and hit me. Well, I didn't even feel the car hit me. I was out. I was above. I was watching the scene. I saw myself laying on the ground. I didn't have any connection to any of that. It was pretty amazing. Now, I didn't follow any tunnel of light or anything. All I did was I turned, and when I turned, the entire scene changed. I was in this place that is so, and it's undescribable. It was so vibrant. It was, everything was alive. Everything seemed like it was dancing. It was all in motion. I felt like I was home. I felt so much peace, so much unconditional love pouring into me. I was just like, and there was a big tree and there was a log and there's a little blanket sitting on a log, or it was sitting across the log. So I just kind of walked up to the log and I sat there and I was just like, wow, this is so amazing. And this other being came walking towards me. It was a male. And when this being came towards me, what radiated from that being intensified. I mean, like really intensified everything that I was feeling in that area, that, you know, I felt like I was home. And the first thing he said to me is that I don't have to come back. But we went through every single thing. He talked to me, you know, we discussed so much. So much was revealed to me. It took about 5 years after the incident because some things had to transpire that I was made aware of that I would interfere with or try to interfere with. And I don't have that right to interfere with somebody else's freedom of choice. Okay, that we'll just put that in a nutshell. But the being that I saw was beautiful. He was wearing clothes of my era, like Levi's and a pullover polo with the belt. So, but I got the impression that that was for my comfort, to make me feel at ease. But what resonated off of this being would be what I would think that would be Jesus. But he had dark curly hair. He didn't have the blonde hair. He had dark curly hair. It was about to his shoulder. He had kind of a olivey, like, but his skin was perfect. I mean, he looked perfected. So when you think about these features as I'm saying them, imagine him in a perfected, like glistening light. Just every orifice of his energy was just unconditional love and acceptance. There was no right answer, no wrong answer. There was no question that was off the table. There was no stupid question. Everything was open. Then I realized that he wasn't moving his mouth. He was talking to me through thought. And then I realized, he's not hiding anything from me, and he could see right through me, because I realized I wasn't speaking. We were talking through our mind. It was odd. So there was no shame. There was nothing to hide, because we were already seeing directly through each other. Because when you can see into somebody's mind, you can see all the way through. You can see their heart. And, when my heart reached out, I made a choice. I ended up being there for 6 days. I never saw the sunset. I never saw a sun. I never saw shadows, but it was always light. It was always beautiful. It was always glistening. It was always dancing. And this being intensified my desire just to want to stay. So he was either there to guide me on over and welcome me home, or to help me to not to make the decision for me, but to allow me to make a choice, a sovereign free will choice based on my heart condition. And my heart condition had too much love to see what I was seeing, what I was shown. So I made the choice to come back. And he told me all about the pain. He told me what I would feel when I came back to my body, that I would feel every inch of pain, and he told me about the recovery. There was nothing left off the table, is what I'm saying. And when I made that decision and I was back in my body, I opened my eyes and I was in. I looked over at my parents and I greeted them, and a look of shock and relief came over their countenance. And I didn't know that I had no idea who they were the prior 6 days. I wasn't there. But when I came back, I fully knew who they were. I identified them immediately, and then my recovery was very swift. In the meantime, I think I died at least 3 or 4 times throughout that. So there was plenty of opportunity for me to not come back, but then something would happen to intervene. Usually it was my mother, that kept the option open for me to return. Does that make sense?
You keep breaking up sometimes on my end, so I'm having a hard time. Some of the words break up, but I just picking up. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, or if anybody else hears it.
Let me stop screen sharing since we're done with that. Yep. Maybe that'll help clear it up and close up some of those other windows. And the consciousness evolution says, I swear a couple of years ago, I think Gray was trying to manifest from another dimension over my bed. When I first started having the lucid dreams and the out of body stuff over 20 years ago, that's what I thought. I thought I was being creeped on by gray aliens or shadow creatures or something was trying to come and get me. What I then realized was, no, I was leaving. And when I was leaving, it was nighttime. And of course, I'm outside of my body and it's dark. So whenever I left and it was daytime, it was a whole different situation. So, when that first starts coming into our awareness, it can kind of scare us a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a unique experience. And then you argue, why is this happening to me? I've got 2 kids to take care of. I need to work. I'm working a couple jobs right now. I don't have time for all of this crazy dream, losing sleep kind of stuff, and a lot of people say, well, a traumatic event can set off these chain of events. I didn't have a traumatic event. I didn't, this wasn't around any of my near-death experiences or traumatic injuries or losses, huge heartbreaking losses and things of that nature. It was just every day, But I think just like with you, before your Kundalini, the stuff's going on in us. It's just a matter of when are we going to be aware enough to remember it, to wake up and remember that we've been doing this dream work our entire life. Whether people are aware they're dream workers or not is a moot point. They are. I mean, we all do it. So I think we all start there, and that's in the Bible. It's in hieroglyphs. It's in several different ways of personifying it in different languages and different cultures on dream works and prophetic dreams and things of those nature that happens to each of us.
Yes. I was just thinking about how interesting it is that we are experiencing this great awakening at this time. I mean, I've seen how many more people, like in the 7 years, and you've been awakened since, you said 2000, right?
Mm-hmm.
People were not talking about these subjects not so long ago, and now you're finding all kinds of channels. All kinds
the Mandela effect did that for me. When the people started seeing the Mandela effect and seeing the fluidity of reality and started noticing these changes all around them, I was doing such a happy dance. You would not believe how much of a happy dance I was doing. I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these people. Look at them all. Hey, Propagate This Light. Welcome to the stream. This is Myrna. She's highly conscious being herself. She kind of sounds a little bit almost like the guest that you had the other night on your place.
Yes. How you doing, A&A? How you doing, Myrna?
Hello.
Yes.
Good.
It looks like I am literally on the stream. I see your background right there. It looks very mean. I like that. Mean in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other night, well, it was yesterday, I think, they did that stream. So thank you for coming through there and supporting me. I appreciate that. It's called the Me Effect with Sue Beckley, and you're just speaking on Mandela effects just now. So I like that, and thank you for having me here.
Was it yesterday? I don't think it was yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before.
Had to have been Monday because I was not I popped my voice stream too, and I wouldn't stay online very long because I was not feeling good Monday. So I'm finally back
Oh
to
yeah.
normal today. Yeah.
Oh yeah. My bad. I just came back from the future, so yeah, it was actually,
Yeah, I know. I love it.
you know, it was it was
Time
Monday.
stepping.
Yeah, I'm time stepping, dancing, hot stepping, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was Monday, and so check that stream out. I put that link in the chat for those that want to check it out.
I was there. I
Holla.
hung in. I hung in.
Yeah, I got a little message for your listeners. You know what I'm saying? If it's okay to speak on it.
I don't know.
Dun
Run
dun
it through
dun dun.
Myrna. No, I'm
Uh,
just kidding. Go
is
ahead.
it okay, Miss Myrna? I love your name, by the way.
Absolutely.
I,
Thank
I love
you.
your name, by the
Thank
way.
you.
This is the first. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. We're getting crossed here.
No,
What
you
was you
had
saying?
the. Nope.
Okay,
No,
I
I'm
think
sorry. They must go ahead.
okay, I think the
Oh,
aliens are like.
I can hear myself in the background. That's weird. Is anybody hearing
That's
that
him.
too?
That's why I mute out in between because and
Okay.
I want to tell you this, Propagate. You need to speak up on your streams because I know that you have a mic issue or something going on with your sound, but we could barely hear what you were saying. We could hear her loud and clear, and I couldn't just keep turning it up and down, up and down, up and down because I could barely hear what you were saying to your guest, but I could hear her 5 by 5. Just FYI.
Right, exactly. I noticed after that stream that, see, in the beginning of the stream, this sounds like I'm saying in the beginning, God created, no, but in the beginning, of the stream, I noticed that, when I was talking and she wasn't on the stream, I was very clear. I was 5 by 5, but when she came on, I started echoing. So I realized that, oh, boom, she needed help. She needed headphones because my voice was, feeding back through her device. If that sounds logical.
That sounds logical, and but I should not be hearing an echo, but I'm hearing an echo. I'm feeding back through somebody's device because I am wearing earbuds and I am on a pro mic. So yeah, it's
Oh,
Marina just fell out. She better come back because it was not her. It's coming through your system, but it's okay. It's all good. What did you want to share?
okay. I thought you were talking about on my stream because we had audio issues on my stream.
Yes, you did. Yeah, I was. I want you to speak up,
Okay,
please.
are you hearing me now? Are you hearing me now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, do I sound better than I was before?
Oh, you sound better than when you were on your stream. Yes.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm here. I'm here. No fear.
All right.
Yeah, but I had a little message for saying your listeners. If oh, I think somebody joined in. Let me see here. Oh yeah, she's back.
Mm-hmm.
So Myrna's back. Okay, cool. All right. Okay. All right. So yeah, I had a little message for you. If it's okay to go ahead and say that to them.
Go, boy. This is an open forum. This is an open chat stream for anybody. Come on and share and catch up.
Okay.
And yeah, it's
Pro-
open.
All right, we're gonna propagate. Awaken, activate. It's never too late. The time is now. Let's get it straight. Come out that egg. No Mindy. Oh wait. No chick. What was first? The spirit. Let's get with it. The higher self, close to heaven, where perfection is fashion. I got a passion like fruit to keep things straight, like the hair on A and A, all day.
Oh my God. Wow. You just made my hair stand up. That was awesome. I loved it.
Thank you.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Appreciations.
So sweet.
Yeah, it's all good.
You have a
Now
strong voice.
You need to put that down on with some music. Send it my direction, and yeah, I'll play that.
Okay, I got you. I got you busting the flow right now, huh? You trying to?
Hey, wait. All right, we're gonna take a little minute break here and check this out. Okay, check this.
check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
You started that. Do you like
For
it?
sure.
I made that for everybody, so I thought, I've been blasting it through the streams today, power streaming, letting people come back over, chit chat, share what they got going on with them, and yeah, I made that clip. So
Nice.
Marina keeps falling out; she'll be back. So
Yeah, that was
she's
nice.
she's pretty amazing. She'd be a good interview for you if she's looking into the beyond quantum healing. She's been through a lot, has a lot of experience, has a lot of wisdom. So, I know that you like to do like you're trying to set yourself as a professional type of interview, type of a thing with breaks and all that stuff. So yeah, contact her.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I'm always looking for people to talk. I'm not always looking for, but I do accept, people that have these types of experiences because as I've had a lot, on my side of the spectrum going on. And when I realized that people were talking about it online, I was so happy that I was able to reach out. But, at first it was hard, even now with certain channels, it's really hard to be able to say something because they don't allow anyone on their live. It's always like it's kind of like it may be like a show, which is cool. People show up and it's like a little society in the chat, so it's all good. You know what I mean? But I do have questions, and I'm very happy that you're one of the ones that open up their channel for people to come in and speak on their experiences. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm like returning the favor. I'm trying to give people what I didn't have. I guess a platform to speak on their experiences.
And then in time you grow.
In time we grow, just like a flower,
Mhm, mhm. Well, if it wasn't for a lot of those like bigger platforms giving me a voice,
Hmm.
then it's like I've got people from Beyond the Veil, I've got people from Scare Performance, I got people from Unbiased on the Fence, I got people from Brian Stabley, I got people that they come from all different spectrums, from Moneybag 73.
Hmm.
I almost said 76, but I know
Right.
that's not his. I know that's a Mandela effect that a lot of people
Right.
remember it the other way. But it's just, a matter of just getting that little bit of a boost so people know you're out there. That's the hardest part, is for people to find you. That's the challenge.
Agreed. Agreed. So I'm here. I'm about to. I was looking for my channel information while you were saying that. That's what took me so long to get back. But yeah, I was definitely listening to everything you said, and I do concur with that. So Myrna, you have a channel. I'm assuming because you're here. Your channel's under your name. I'm assuming.
No, I do not have a channel.
Okay.
Sorry, I can hear myself talk. There's an
Okay. Are you
echo.
okay? So are you wearing headphones? Maybe that's the
I,
issue. If you
I
don't have
am
them.
wearing headphones,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
I didn't have this issue before. I also heard an echo coming from the host,
Mm.
but you sound clear.
Okay. Maybe A&A.
It's coming through here. It's nothing to worry about. And by the way, Myrna, my name's Michelle. I don't know if I told you
Thank you,
that.
Miss Steph.
You can
No, I
call
did
me
not know
Michelle.
that.
Yeah. You don't have to call me Awake and Activate. Pretty much everybody knows I'm the Michelle with one L, because there's no hell in this Michelle.
But can I call you Colette?
You can try.
All good.
Michelle, I
Yep.
remember seeing your show a couple of years ago. You used to interview people, and
Yeah, I
sometimes,
still do. Hmm.
okay, yeah, I just remember seeing listening to some of your shows in the past. And did you just came back in, right, recently?
I've been just
Come on?
posting videos, and I have been doing some premieres, but I haven't been doing a bunch of lives. So that's why we're power living today, and we're breaking back into. We're going to be doing live streams, guys. We're going to be back rocking and rolling, getting to know each other, growing together, sharing with one another, without judgment or labels. Sharing experiences so we can each glean and grow, because everybody has something amazing to share with one another. No matter what level of awareness, we can always reach higher highs, because how good can it get? It's only going to get better and better and better. But yeah, I've been working at this for over 4 years now. So uh, consistently, I think I've got 680 posts up so far. And then I found out that YouTube, now that they changed their studio, I was able to see all the ones, that the free music that was offered on YouTube that I put in the very beginning. Some of my videos that had thousands of views when I only had a couple hundred subscribers. And that's where I was started to grow. Um, they, what do you call it? Hit a copyright strike and took them down, and it said it was for the music, but the music was offered free. But then if it's later, the artist is copyright or gets signed or whatever, if that music is still on and that video is still active, who's going to go back through 700 or whatever videos to check their music? And how do we know which artist gets signed? But they pull them down. And I saw that I had, oh my gosh, tons of my posts have been pulled down that are still pertinent information that's good for here and now, depending on where we're at and where we're growing. But yeah, you might want to check yours, propagate. You may be surprised.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't know if I said this before, but I'm a recording artist, so in a producer. So I'm keen to like samples and things like that. So before I started uploading to YouTube, or before I started using sounds and things like that in my videos, I took precaution. I know where I'm getting the sounds from. But what you just said there, as far as the music in your videos, like later down the line, if they get signed, I never thought of it like that. But I tried. I be sure that I don't use any music per se. But when you were saying that, I was thinking that the place where I get my copyright free information files, they have music on there as well that's copyright free, and you never know what happens later down the line.
That's right. It could change at any moment. So I
Right.
have music that's been written for me, and one of the artists is copyright, but he's given exclusive permission for songs for me to use. And I've got it in writing, and he actually argued with the copyright, said, leave me alone. I have the right to use it, and I haven't had any trouble since. And another is an awesome artist, but he does it, he actually performs live. So he's not really worried about getting signed or anything. He does live performances, and then he wrote songs that I use in my posts also. That's the best way to go about it, because you can never trust whether, even if it says you don't have to do any attributes to the person and they're offering it, you go ahead and use it. It's free music, no attributes, no nothing. And 3 years they get signed, they take everything from the onslaught of that post. Everything, if it's still live, if it's still up and going. So it was shocking. I was like, whoa, wow.
Right. And we just have to it's like a tug of war. You try to use sounds. I mean, it's kind of tricky, it's kind of tricky. But I try to be sure that I don't use music per se, like music in my productions that's not mine, even if it's there is I've did it before, but on my channel I try not to incorporate that into my videos just automatically. I mean, really, my live streams, I don't really incorporate any music within the broadcast anyway. Like some people on their lives, they show videos and music and things like that. I don't do that.
I have been today.
Oh.
That little one that you saw just a minute ago. But that one is all good. It's all mine. And so, yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you know how hard it is to get all those things to line up to dance to the rhythm, and but it's
Oh.
fun.
Oh, okay. So you created the visual behind the music.
Yeah, I had to line all that up so everybody's dancing to the rhythm of the song. Yes.
Very great work.
Dancing.
Okay.
They had to flow with the jive, with the jam. So yeah, they're all dancing to it, and it just got to synchronize it and line it all up. You can only use it for a certain amount of time per clip. Blah 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 blah. Got to follow all the guidelines and rules.
Mm-hmm.
But it came out really good and really cute, and it's uplifting. It's high vibrational, and it was made with unconditional love to uplift people today.
Nice. So it's gonna do what it was meant to do. And I showed something similar on my broadcast that we were speaking about earlier with the ME effect with Sue Beckley. Like you said in this broadcast earlier, that I'm doing more professional. You said I'm doing breaks and things. So that's the first one I did, like a break, and in the break I showed a video, and that video I created. I did the same thing similar to what you did, but I produced the music. But that's not one of my best productions. It's just something that I just kind of randomly did, and I just put scenes around the music.
I thought that was our potty break, so I utilized the time.
All good. Everything everything is all good.
I hung in with you. You knew I was there when she couldn't figure out what that island was called. I was like, come on, I'm sending it to you mentally. Just get it. Pick it up. Oh, gotta type it in. Really? And then she got it. Ellis.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because you helped her to recall that. Me personally, I'm not familiar with the whole Statue of Liberty location thing. I'm not familiar with that. They said that it is on a different island now, right?
Yeah, it used to be on Ellis Island, and now it's on Liberty Island, which is in New Jersey, not even New York. So tell me, how did it get from out of New York now into the New Jersey harbor onto an island called Liberty, when the actual platform star that the Statue of Liberty sat on is still on Ellis Island. Riddle me that one.
That's crazy because so Sue Beckley was trying to remember where it was located, and you're saying that, and she said she was thinking Ellis, and you told her Ellis Island, so that's where it was located originally. I'm getting confused again. I'm sorry.
The Statue of Liberty was originally in New York. You could see it when when the immigrants were coming in. That was the first vantage that they see, was the Statue of Liberty standing strong, and they would land there at where Statue of Liberty was. It's called Ellis Island, where they would be processed through the immigration and then let into the United States. Now Ellis Island is still in New York, but the Statue of Liberty is now on a separate island called Liberty Island that is now in New Jersey.
That's crazy. So that whole stream that I did, it was validated that it was on Ellis Island because she was thinking that.
Yes. I remember it on Ellis Island also. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to remember it the same way. It's just, for me, I remember Liberty being on Ellis Island. It was part of what we learned in history. Just like the JFK thing is not the same for me. It's just like my Bible keeps changing on me. I just did some videos the other day, and the Bible changed again on me. So I have to be careful because I've read it so many times that I have it memorized, that I look at the words now and make sure that I'm reading what is on the page instead of going from my memory, because what's on the page, although it'll mean the same thing, it'll bring you to the same conclusion. If you read it with your spiritual eyes, it's going to bring to the same conclusion of awakening. But the words are changing. The rock that Jacob rested his head on, where he's seen the ladder where the angels were ascending and descending into heaven, that he named the land Bethel, because he said God is obviously in this place. But the rock he anointed and called Pineal, and made an altar to God out of the stone that he rested his head on. He did not do that anymore. That stone is not named Pineal. Now it's where he had the wrestling with the angel of the Lord, where that was about taking the birthright from his brother and facing his brother about what he had done and making right by, coming to his brother. He wrestled with an angel of the Lord, and the angel of the Lord and him wrestled all night, and Jacob wouldn't give up. So he finally blessed him. He said, your name is now Israel. And that was about him getting his hip knocked out of place and them no longer eating that part of any animal ever again. That's what brought that part into that sect of religion, was that wrestling with the angel of the Lord. But now in that part, that's where he named that land, not the stone or the altar, but now he named that land Pineal. And it's like, but still means the same thing. He wrestled with man and God, and the pineal, third eye, you wrestle with the man and you wrestle with God to come to your own identity. And then when you prevail, you're blessed. So it still makes sense. The scripture still tells it still has meaning. There's meat there. It's still a beautiful book, but I have to really look at it now, because it's not how I remembered reading it over and over and over and over again in the past. Verses have changed.
Right. So what spiritual meaning, not spiritual meaning, but you said you read over it and it's the same meaning. What about the wine skins? Yeah, the wine skins and the bottles. What do you think about that one?
Again, you can't put new wine. You can't mix old wine and new wine. We've got to get rid of the old wine. We got to get rid of the old man and allow the new wine to flow in. The bottle will burst if we're trying to combine. If we're trying to be dual-minded and fighting with ourselves, we are fighting with ourselves, and we will shatter the glass or the wineskin. So really, there's really no difference whether it be a bottle. But yes, I remember it as wineskins. But now it does say bottles. But it really, if you think of it with your spiritual eyes, there really is no difference because both of them will burst. You cannot mix old with the new of any fermented beverage. It will cause some kind of a reactive, um, conclusion to come of whatever the vessel is that is holding the mixture.
Okay. So I came to that conclusion also. I just never said anything. But then I thought that, okay, that kind of, not to downplay what you said, but I came to the same conclusion. I said to myself, that kind of doesn't make sense because um, how can I never heard of a bottle bursting if you put old wine in it. You know what I mean?
You have to have both, hon. You don't mix the new wine with the old wine. We've got to go through that dark night. We've got to come through that purging process. We got to, overcome that old stuff, that stinking thinking, and we got to, release that and allow the new to flow in and to allow us to be lighter, as Myrna and I were discussing earlier. As we move through and we grow and we move in our very essence, we can only change ourselves. We can only work on ourselves, but we feel lighter and lighter as we are lifting out these burdens that we've carried. Usually these burdens we carry are false. They're false ideas about ourselves. And it's time for us to come into the truth.
Right. I agree. But the one thing I was confused about that verse though, and I agree with what you just said. Are you saying that if you put old wine into a bottle, it will burst? Because I'm trying to understand what that phrase was again.
Okay, it says that you cannot pour old wine into a new wine bottle, like new wine. You cannot pour old into the new. You cannot pour new into the old, or the bottles will burst. So if you pour new wine into an old wineskin, which has old wine in it, okay, it's not going to it's going to have a reaction, a chemical reaction, and it will expand the wineskin and it will rip it at seams. Same with the bottle. So if you put an old, if you have old in there, or if you have new in there, and then you pour and you say, "Oh, I'm going to save this wine, but I'm going to come put them both into the same bottle. One of them's from the 1800s and one of them's from 1976." So you pour them both into the one bottle since they're both red wines. Okay, watch what happens. That bottle will crack. The wine will be spoiled. It will not be drinkable. It's ruined.
So the bottle breaking, are getting cracks. Is that what they mean by bursting?
Yes, and also the wine is no good. So you gotta go deeper than go deeper than the vessel, than the vehicle, or whatever it is poured into. But go, what is it that is poured into it? Old and new, mixtures, mixtures, mixtures. Can't have mixtures. We're in a process of unmixing.
Right, right. And yeah, we in that process of unmixing exactly. That's why there's so much stuff going on in people's minds, or at least in my mind. Just so I'm trying to manage my thoughts. I've been working on that. Um, Myrna, are you still there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay. When it comes, I just wanted to ask you this. When it comes to the Bible, do you know the first phrase, the phrase in it? God created the blank and the earth.
Honestly, I haven't looked in the Bible in years. Um, so in the beginning, God created. I don't remember what it was. I just remember that in the beginning was the Word.
Okay, okay. What do you think the word is?
Sound, a vibration, a frequency.
Okay, and
But how do we interpret this into our daily lives? That's the key. So it's how, like, we could have all these powers. I heard it said recently in a session, but we could have the power of uh, communicating telepathically. We can astral travel. Um, we have many powers. We can manipulate or work with the elements. But the most important thing is, and that we cannot communicate with our neighbor or get along with our neighbor. So one of the most important things is to learn to love thy neighbor first as one loves self. So learn to love yourself and learn to love your neighbor. And that's what this Great Awakening is about. And, through a lot of people are awakening right now, and they may be coming into these platforms and looking for answers. And now with this COVID and this 2020, and how are we going to manage these times and maintain our frequency and make the changes necessary to manifest this new world that we are all longing for.
Right. With the Mandela effect, I like to call it the me effect because of the acronyms of the title. And I'm thinking that, like I was saying in my last recent broadcast, that's what I think. But I'm just saying the me effect because I think it's coming from us, and we're talking about the powers within us, right? So tap into the powers that be within ourselves. And so, I just trailed off what I was going to say.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Where do you live? Do you live in California too, as Michelle? What are you experiencing with this COVID and everything?
Okay. Good question. I'm in California. There's what do you call it? Where you have to be in at a certain time.
Curfew?
Yeah, curfew. And where I'm at, the curfew starts at 10 o'clock. So, yeah, everything is good. I mean, at least where I'm at, at least even in my own mind, it's like, it's positive. It's positivity. You know what I'm saying? And all around me, nobody's worried about nothing. That's what it looks like to me, And I've also spoken to a lot of people, and a lot of people that I spoke to is on the same page about, well, at this time, I don't mean to ramble, but I will say at this time will be a good time to tap into your creativity. You know what I'm saying? And know who you are. And it's good that this broadcast even exists right now because, people are, I guess you could say more people are at home, and they may come across this broadcast and say, hey, I'll spend this time to meditate, tap into God. So everything is cool with me and a lot of people I spoke to about it. If that sounds logical.
Yes, I live in Montana, so I'm experiencing peace in the midst of this chaos. I feel like I'm like in the eye of the storm, and my life hasn't changed too much, except for when I go to the city and go to Costco, and I'm expected to wear a mask, which, by the way, I don't want to live in a world with a mask.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I would say that during the time when everything was quote unquote normal, you know what I mean, the mask was present. People wearing the mask, you know what I mean? And some people say, hey, this person's fake or whatever like that, they're wearing the mask. So I'd rather actually see a mask than just be like, oh, it's invisible. And you're playing the game. So
we've all turned into smooth criminals.
Okay. Oh, we had a commercial break
It's just like you look around and like usually when people walk in with these masks on, you're like, we're gonna get robbed. And now it's like, no, everybody's got these black masks on. Everybody's faces are covered, and nobody knows who's who. And if we get robbed, nobody's gonna know what's what. So, but apparently nobody's doing that because you know what? The nature of people is good. So that should, But I was just making a play on an old song of Michael Jackson's of Smooth Criminal because that's what it looks like. You go in a grocery store and everybody's all masked up. You're like, which one of you are robbing the place? I'm not sure because everybody's wearing a mask. So which one, It's a joke.
Right. And I also look at it like to like, okay, we're like, if we don't see right now that we are all the same, then I don't know what else could happen that we could see that we're all the same. You know what I mean? Because when I look up and I see somebody with, I always when I'm out and about in a public area and I look up to see somebody, I always keep forgetting that, dang, this person has one on, that person has one. You know what I mean? It's not like these different faces. You know what I mean? And I think that this is a good opportunity because they always say the eyes are the gateway to the soul. So this is a good opportunity to go ahead and look into those eyes. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good. I guess you could see
Yeah,
it from that perspective.
you can, but when you're trying to communicate behind somebody that's behind plexiglass, you're muffled, they're muffled, they can't hear you, and it's something important, and things are getting garbled and mixed up because they can't speak clearly. You can't see facial expressions. They can't see yours. They don't know if you're in distress. They don't, if you walk around a grocery store and somebody's in physical distress, you will no longer be able to see that in their body language and face, because normally you see that in their face first. You will see it in their cheeks. Their jaw will tense up if they're having a heart attack or something of that nature. Not that I'm saying these things, I don't want these things to happen. Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is when somebody's in distress, it shows in their face and in their facial, how they are, how their gait is, what their countenance is showing in their face. If your face is completely covered, I can't tell if you are having a seizure. I can't tell if you're gritting your teeth or about to have a seizure. I can't tell until you start actually physically grabbing your left arm and dropping to the ground, which it could have been a matter of minutes that I could have already gotten an ambulance to you that could have prevented what happened, because of a couple minutes had to lapse before you grabbed your arm and hit the ground, because I could have seen it on your face. I do think that there's a lot of things that are being covered up. Communication breakdown. We speak with body language, facial expressions, and of course, yes, the eyes are the window to the soul. But which eye? All three, right? And how many people can look directly into your third eye? If they don't have theirs open, they can't see your third eye. So we have to go from what we know, and from the physical standpoint, from the five senses, we're not ready to have our faces covered and to be able to communicate telepathically yet. Not everybody is at a level of awareness to be able to do that, to be able to telepathically tell somebody I'm in distress. So we still have to rely on the senses of our facial features, of our, what we're doing physically, body language, facial gait, in order to, like I said, a few minutes can save somebody's life.
Right, especially if you look at it from that perspective, exactly. But and then not to downplay what you're saying, I do agree. But are so many other perspectives too, right? And just the other day, I was in a public area, and there was a car stopped in the middle of the street, and I seen some people surrounding the car, and there was a guy by the driver's side, like on his phone, looking confused and looking down at the ground towards the driver's side of this car. The driver's side door was open, and there was a lady in distress on the street. I think she was holding her chest or something. She, the chest area, and she was distressed, but she didn't have any face covering on at that moment. So that's one perspective that actually happened. And sometimes I would say it's better for. Well, I look at it like this also with face coverings. I get to hear the person talk rather than to judge them right away off of how they look. Does that make any sense? Like if somebody's talking or whatever, I could really focus on what they're saying rather than to get thrown off by other things, if that makes any sense.
It's almost forcing people that have the ability to encroach, and I don't like to encroach without permission, into somebody else's thought process, because not everybody's ready to have their thoughts out in the open to everybody to be able to look in. And out of respect, we should always, you can ask on the spiritual plane, but if somebody's not, aware, we shouldn't We shouldn't be doing that. So although there are people, and I'm well aware there's many people that can at this time look past the mask and see straight in to what the thought process is going on, and the communication can go and proceed from there. But a lot of people are not. And just that example that you just gave is a good enough reason that that we should be making sure we're being vigilant about our brothers and sisters, because there's no wasted space. Everybody is precious.
Right, right.
Could I
Yes.
say something? I honor other people's choice. If they choose to wear the mask, I think that they should have the right to choose that, not to wear the mask. But as I should also have the choice not to wear a mask, because we're equal, and I'm experiencing something completely different than them. I haven't had an ounce of fear since this whole pandemic or plandemic. And I in my world, the COVID, almost like it doesn't exist. Yes, people are getting sick, but the way I perceive it is like a flu. And I know if I got
Ooh.
sick,
Do you know anybody? I don't know anybody. Do you?
that's gotten sick from the COVID,
Yeah. Personally, do you know anybody?
yes, I
Okay,
do.
I don't. My husband said that his friend said that he did, but then his test came back negative. So we really, honestly, have not met not one person in our real life that has come back positive that we know physically and personally.
But the person who did have the COVID, they experienced mild symptoms. They said that even a cold was worse than that. So I think it's an individual experience, and it was very scary when I don't watch the news, but I have no idea why I saw this CBS. My husband was looking at YouTube, and I saw that some of the words that were used on the CBS warning. The man said that in California, I believe that you will need a certificate to go to see a game or something like that. And the people that have taken the COVID will have certain privileges. So it's constantly creating more separation between the people who are afraid and the people that are living a whole different reality. It almost seems like there's a split of realities occurring at this time.
A gap, a bigger and bigger gap. Yes, it does seem that way. After careful consideration and much pondering, what I decided to do was do what I needed to do and do it as quickly as possible. But if me putting a mask on will reduce somebody else's fear of manifesting this within themselves because they think I came in without a mask, they think without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sick, I'm contagious, they're going to get sick, they'll manifest it. So if I could put a mask on and reduce that fear, and it's just on for a few minutes, I just put it on and then I take it right back off as soon as I hit fresh air. I can't have it on very long. I can't breathe with them. I don't know how people can wear these things day in and day out. I have no clue why. And like I said, I don't know anybody who's, and my family's spread all over the United States. Nobody that has come down with it. None. Nobody. And then, like I said, the one guy that kept talking about it and listening to the news, talking about it, and his wife had him doing all kinds of crazy stuff before he could even come in the house. He came down with the symptoms, but then when he got his test done, it was negative. So it was like self-manifestation. He believed it, that it was real, so it became real. So that says, a lot about us too. And we're seeing it. Many of us are seeing the reality of it. But do we want to add fear to somebody else and make it harder on somebody else that is not quite yet knowing how freaking awesome they are, how amazing? They're still our brothers and sisters, whether they choose to, acknowledge it or not, they still are. It doesn't take away from who they are just because they don't know it yet. So out of respect, I'll do it for them, especially for the elderly people. They are really scared. And I'm not going to be the one that brings more fear upon another, especially somebody that thinks that this is so real that it could happen to them. And yeah, so that's how I gauge it. But I do not like my rights trampled on. I agree with you there. If they have the right to wear them, I should have the right to wear what I choose. So I agree that, and just like with the pharmacy thing I was talking about earlier, there's so many rights that are being trampled on of so many different people. It's an overreach. It's like we're going to keep reaching and reaching and reaching until people get to a breaking point and snap out of it. How much does it take? How much pressure do you have to put on that pressure cooker before people are going to snap and come out of this and pull themselves up into who they truly are? I look at it kind of, as because people have told me traumatic things or pressure like this can constitute an awakening or a kundalini or a Holy Spirit experience within somebody. This didn't happen in my situation necessarily, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen, because I've heard many people talk about how after a traumatic event, they had an amazing experience. So who knows what it takes for each unique being to come into their awareness. But the pressure is definitely on.
Let me. I'll ask this. Do people walk around with a face covering on on your like in public places where you're at? Do people just freely walk around with them on?
Are you talking to Michelle or Myrna?
Anybody?
Well, here where I live in a small town, so most people are not wearing a mask. Some elderly people and only a few people are wearing masks at the grocery store. But in the city, there's a lot more people wearing masks.
Okay, so in the city, they're just freely walk. Okay, so let me ask you: in your area, do people have to have one on whenever they go out, just in general?
No, no.
Okay, so that's what's going on in my area. People are just freely. See, the regulation here is that you have to have one on to go into the stores, right? So the stores is not like just out everywhere. It's like people are everywhere just wearing them freely. So that's why I said earlier, it just seems like nobody's really, everybody's just living and doing what they have to do, but they're wearing them. And it goes to Awaken Activate's point that if I have to, if you have, I guess they're thinking that they have to do it to calm other people, whatever the case is. I don't know what the case is. Everybody has different reasons, but people are freely wearing them. Some people have to wear it for work to continue to support their family, as they've been doing before the whole situation happened. So, and but like you said, Awaken Activate, that through this, see, I think it's a vibrational thing, because I noticed that when I go too deeply into that type of information, I start to feel myself getting sick. And I know that when you stress a lot, your immune system drops. So
Yep.
so there you go right there, right? So it's like,
Yep.
I'm thinking like, okay, so if this is what you're propagating, to what you were saying, your last statement, if people are propagating that, then there's going to be a lot of immune systems dropping, and you pretty much just, you're pretty much bringing that to people, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
I'm not on the news. I'm not bringing forth this nonsense information and feeding it into people 24/7. It came across my cell phone twice about a week ago that we were back into home, we were back on a stay-at-home order here, and I'm like, I left later on that day because I had to go and run some errands. So, well, so much for that stay-at-home order. And I have to say, my own doctor's office, they don't make me wear a mask. I could walk in and out of there all day long, all night long, and they don't make me wear a mask. And only time that I ever put one on is if I'm going into like a grocery store real quick, only because I'm dealing with elderly people who are afraid of this, and I had to weigh it out. I had to think on it. Well, if they really believe this, how powerful are they? They're powerful enough to manifest it. And do I want to be a catalyst in that? How much effort does it take for me to put this mask on that my doctor gave me a handful of them for free? So I just put it on for 2 minutes, take it back off after I get what I need and get out of the store. I don't run a bunch of errands. My husband does. He's the caregiver. I can do little things, but not major things. But I had to weigh it out. Do I want to wear it? No. I can't breathe with the darn thing on. I cannot. The only reason it even goes on my face is to help others to not manifest this because they don't realize their own power of suggestion.
Cool. I like that. Definitely.
I can't wait for all this to calm down. And well, I don't know how long this is going to be going on for, but I really feel that this situation has forced many of us to, one, move away from the areas that these things are being enforced, like the vaccination and the wearing of a mask. And secondly, it's making us becoming more self-sufficient. Like we've been growing a food forest and learning to grow our own food. So we can rely less on the system that seems to be forcing us now to make a choice to either go by the rules or becoming convenient, because you may not have some of the conveniences as before. So you have to start growing your own food, and it's better for you anyways, because at least you know what you're eating. It's not GMO. Those items coming from these corporations I think the quality is just going to get worse and worse with each passing day and year. So, I mean, if there's any advice that I can give anybody out there, is to go within and to pray for guidance, and to, maybe you're being forced into, maybe you've been fired from a job and now you're forced into doing something else. Know that everything happens for a reason. Don't go into fear. Don't go into those lower states of being, and try to stay positive and try to ride the storm by staying in a higher state of awareness and peace, and helping yourself. Kind of like a prepper, I guess, but not really prepper. I would like to say it more as creating abundance. There's absolutely no reason why anybody should be suffering from hunger when one apple, you see all the seeds that you get can give you so much. One tree, I have worked for this person who has one apple tree. That one tree was enough to provide apples for 10 families, and she had still more left. So the freedom that the earth that we're wanting to create the power is gonna have to come from each individual one of us to create the changes that we want to see in the world from within ourselves first, in our own personal lives and in our lifestyles.
Right. Isn't the ME such a beautiful thing? I mean, it's such a beautiful thing, It's just like we were somewhere before and now we're somewhere else, if that's what's going on. And if that's what's going on, then things are not actually changing. As us jumping from, I really don't know, maybe things are changing, who knows, right? But it's a beautiful thing to me. And it's funny, I don't know if y'all recognize this in the past with the ME, that at least the channels I was watching, and people were saying, how come this is not public? How come the mainstream is not talking about the ME? Do y'all remember anything like that?
Um, I say the mainstream did what they were going to do with the Emmy, and their show got shut down. It's no longer even accessible. Even that guy's, all three of his shows are gone. So either you're going to represent, millions of people properly, or you're going to just shut up what on things you don't understand, or you're going to get shut down. So that's my opinion on that. Because
Okay.
I really, I mean, I've never been so heated before when I saw that show on HBO. I would have never watched that guy if it wasn't brought to my attention. But I watched it, and the people that were there, a lot of people that were there don't even want to be on camera. Like, you don't like to show yourself on camera. And there this guy is with the freaking a camera in his hat, filming these people and recording them without their knowledge, and then making tomfoolery out of a very real happening that's going on to millions, possibly now billions of people. So anyways, it's gone, and I'm not sad to see it gone. If they're going to come out publicly and talk about it, then they need to talk about it properly, and they need to take what the people are saying at these conventions for what they're saying, and listen, and don't where they do those voiceovers being condescending. I mean, you hit a hot potato with me on that one.
Okay, I got the potato in my hand now. So yeah, but
You take that potato, dude.
yeah,
One
with
of
the
them's a good friend of mine, and I'm going to tell you, this person wrote a book, and highly respected, awesome personality, beautiful person to be around, lovely to share time with. Don't go there. Don't tread on people that are honest and authentic. I mean, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Yeah, you can have this hot potato back. So there you go.
boom, man, it's hot. Let me take a bite. Hold on. Pretty good. uh, yeah. So what I noticed with the ME is that around that time, I was saying in the past with the ME, that how come this is not mainstream? How come nobody's talking about it? So what I noticed on my side of the spectrum is that some celebrities were talking about it. No, actually, in time, that's what happened, you know. And then the movie came out about the Mandela effect, and then all of a sudden, boom! Now mainstream news is being talked about through some of the Mandela affected, right? So now, when there's a show supposed to be about the Mandela effect, then then now the mainstream news has leaked in there. And so I would say, just be careful of what, like you were saying earlier, just be careful what you put in your mind. Be careful of the people you socialize with, and, et cetera, as you've been doing probably way before you even had a channel. That goes to anybody, I guess, right? Well, that's how I think in my mind, is just be very careful of the information you take in, as it says in the Bible somewhere, right? Be careful what you eat, basically. The information that you're taking in, because you can manifest things. And with the Mandela effect, and I'll let you speak. I'm sorry about that. That's why I said Mandela effect is such a beautiful thing, right? So tap into that, and maybe if we could just continue to focus on that, then maybe, some people are saying, well, how come we can't just go somewhere else? And some people were saying, like, how come we can't go back to the way things were, right? But I thought that normal was the way things were. People was trying to get out of that. That's what I thought, right? So now we're somewhere different, I guess, right? Now we know that things are different. You mentioned Costco earlier, Miss Myrna, and let me throw this in there real quick. Costco store, how is that a Mandela effect for you, as far as the name, the way it is now?
It was always Costco to me. I haven't noticed any change.
Okay. How was it? Was it always spelled the way it is to you now, or like you're saying, you didn't really trip off of that?
Is Costco a Mandela effect?
Yep. At least to me. And
Okay.
couple
How
other
do you
people. Yeah.
remember it?
I definitely remember it without a T. And
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no T in Costco. It's not Costco, it's Costco.
Okay, so is that the way it is right now?
I don't know.
It's always been with a T for me. Costco. Oh man, this
Wow.
is weird.
Right. Why would somebody say cost? Like you're just like knowing that you're gonna be paying a lot or something, right? But it wasn't T for me, at least in the past.
Well, noticing that this place is malleable is a fundamental understanding that we all go through, and then then we work on inner self. The only one we have control over is ourselves. Then we do the internal work, and then we become the best version of ourselves, and then we start reflecting that out. And then what happens is then people will start to migrate into our lives that are also at that resonance of uh, of that vibration. It's almost like realm hopping. Instead of thinking you're going to another world, I think of it as going like there's realms, layers upon layers of different realms. But then we also quantumly entangle. So sometimes things will bleed over depending on what the majority of people are resonating with. That's what we'll end up experiencing. But when we're off by ourselves, when you get away from that situation, then you're dealing with paradise. So it has to do with other people because of lack of awareness of their true identity. But it doesn't, like I said, doesn't take away from who they are. It just takes away that they're just not quite aware of it yet. And we do need to take careful consideration until you're strong enough and you're able to gauge your ear gates, your eye gates, and your thought process and mitigate and capture those thoughts. Remember, scripture says to take all your thoughts into captivity. There's a reason for that, because we manifest it. If we're taking our thoughts into captivity so we do not harm, and we are loving our neighbor and we're loving our enemies, we have no enemies if we're loving everybody. And that was what the gospel was all about, was to love each other, stop fighting with each other. We're all in this together. Treat each other equally. It's such a divine, perfect plan when you think about it. Everything is just so perfectly orchestrated and tapestry to bring us all along into coming back into remembering what we forgot. We forgot about how God created us through vibration, through thought, then speaking into vibration, and the spirit moved. And man was the pinnacle, and like I said earlier, and Myrna was on here. Now people and of the Christian faith, we think we are dirty, rotten sinners made from dirt, and that God breathed into our nostrils the breath of life. The breath of life into our nostrils is a fierce continence out of anger. And when I broke down the etymology between the Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 account of creation, they were so polar opposite. But you got to think of it this way. We started with the first. That's how we came into being. We wanted to experience something else. So we created something else to experience. And then we had children, because you didn't die. The children then were born into a dualistic type of a situation. And as they were raised up, they started combating with each other, and the elders ended up getting killed, and boom, you're gone. You're not here anymore to try to set the record straight and say, no, you guys, we decided we wanted to experience this. In the meantime, you could have hundreds of children. You're 1,000 years old. You can have hundreds of children, and they're born into a society of a creation where everybody came together and said, yeah, let's try to experience it because we could grow from that. And everybody forgot. So now we've made a phantom boogeyman. We created a God over evil and a God over good. We made two gods. There's only one. There's only one God. So, it's just a matter of coming back into our awareness And like I said, I'm a work in progress. I got kicked up off my feet. I know I have a lot of inner work to do because, with the situations that I've been dealing with, it stumbled my healing process. It kind of stopped or slowed it. It's still going on, but not as rapidly as it was before that incident happened with my child. So even though I'm forgiving, I'm working on forgiving. I'm working on forgiving. So let me make sure that I say that right. I'm working on forgiving these two men behind the wheel for taking her. But it's work. It really is. And it's inner work. It's only work that I can do. I can't do the inner work for my son. He needs to do his own. My husband needs to do his own. My mother needs to do her own. And I need to do my own. But that was a stumbling block because it went into my eye gates, my ear gates, and she's gone. So it caused upset within me, and I stopped progressing. I was progressing fast, healing fast. I'm still, I haven't gained any of the weight back. Nothing has been taken away from me. It's just things have slowed down.
Right. And so basically, like you're saying, no matter what, we focus on God, and you may not stop, you may just slow down, but hopefully that slow down will evolve into, speeding into the right direction rather than speeding and then something happens. If you're not going in the right direction, you know what I mean?
One thing I've been
Michelle,
told is we don't ever lose anything that we're given. Everything that we have been given up until that point, you will always go, you will never fall below what you have achieved. You may stop for a little while, but you won't fall below it. So don't worry about that kind of stuff. Don't let me try to even let you even think anything like that, because that's not true. What was that, Myrna? I'm sorry.
oh, I was just wondering, wanted to ask you, why do you think that this happened with your daughter? What was the purpose? What was the reason for this?
I can't explain how what karmic debt or whatever. She said she was an adult. She lived her own life. Or what these gentlemen have going on within them. And all I know is that I, again, fell under the spiritual law because of the depression and heartbreak and missing her, and feeling the feeling of why did these two men do this? And then I had to get to the point where it's like, okay, they didn't deliberately do it. Let's think logically. They were both negligent with their driving. They were both behind the wheel, but they didn't do it deliberately. So I'm a work in progress on that. And just like I said earlier, they offered the plea bargain. He did finally take it, so I don't have to go through a trial, which is a blessing. Things are manifesting really in TikTok time. I wanted him to be able to get out and have a life with his own children and come out a different person. And I hope that he makes that choice for himself. And as for why one was charged and the other was not, I'm out of balance with that. I think if you were going to charge one, you should have charged them both. But then it was explained, if we charge them both, one's got to be the witness, blah, 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 and we won't get a conviction, and then there won't be any justice. Well, this is not what I call justice. You can't punish one person for something that they're accused for, then it comes up that they don't even have it in their system. And then go ahead and throw them in the slammer, and then let the other one go scot-free. And if there was that intensive alcohol smell, why wasn't the other one tested? Especially since the other one had not a drop in his system. That's why there's my conundrum right there. I feel that this is not justice when it's not balanced. You see what I'm saying? She was the only one that was not behind a wheel. She was not intoxicated. She was a passenger, and the car slammed straight into her passenger side and crushed her. And she was DOA. The other guy that was in the vehicle with her, they didn't expect for him to live through the night. So, but that's the one that they prosecuted. So I'm trying to find balance. I'm trying to find peace, and I'm trying to find forgiveness. I'm doing better with the guy that went to court, but the other guy, I'm having a little bit of trouble with. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress.
Well, that's very powerful that you went through this awakening, and then you had this other challenge come into your life, and you've been tested with forgiveness and all the feelings that you experience, the natural feelings that one experiences through the loss, and you are being challenged with this. And it's like you even have a bigger, you have this testimony that it's unfolding, and thank goodness for the awakening that you the work that you had done before this incident, and it's helping you get through this huge loss.
It's definitely not easy. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. I mean, I've never had a pain like this though. I've never, even with all my when I was 15, getting hit by the car, getting hit by the drunk driver, and those physical pains. There's no comparison to this. This is, I do not ever want anybody to ever have to go through this. And if we can finally get to the point where we have stomped out illness and know that that is false, and then we overcome death itself and know that that is false, then nobody will ever go through a situation like I'm going through, because it won't be possible. Just like we were talking earlier on the previous stream, Myrna, about what's going to happen and what's the future medical look like. I'll let you answer that, because I already know what the future for medicine is going to be. So I'll let you go ahead and field that one for everybody.
The way I perceive the future medicine, it's going to be different depending on what reality you're living. The old system will still be in place for those people that are still having to play that reality out. But in the meantime, like I said, I feel like there's like a split of realities happening, in the sense that some of the people now that are awakened are coming into new methods of healing, like the biofeedback, like sound healing, healing chambers, and all kinds of other technologies that will come our way through the connection of higher evolved beings, but also through our own process that we go through our own healing. A lot of us have realized that we can heal ourselves. We can do the same work that these machines do ourselves. We can scan our bodies. When we raise our vibration, we are creating healing for ourselves and radiating that onto others. So there will be some people that will not need any kind of doctors or outside sources, maybe except for medicinal herbs or something that is naturally available.
Yep. And it is like clean the inside of your cup and the outside's clean. You guys, we're gonna take a little break, and I hope you guys enjoy this little musical dance montage I put together. Bring things back up a peg, and we'll be right back. Please don't forget, I keep putting the StreamYard link in, and this is an open chat forum, so join in the conversation, please.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. it sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
And that was Awake and Activate with Things Sound Right, Boy. This is Wednesday Night Videos. I am your host, Propagate This Light. We have Awake and Activate right here in the studio with us, along with the lovely Myrna. How you doing, Myrna?
Y'all take over my show or what?
No. I was just doing I was just doing a mic check. That's all. Yeah, I'll just yeah.
You guys should have just popped right back up when it is over.
I'm just joking.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check. Propagate This Light is here in the house. Marina Rogers is here in the house. Oh, Rodriguez, I'm sorry. And guys, hey, this is open. Come in. Quartz Quantum in the house. Blue Ray Starseed, Earth Racer. See if I can scroll up. Inner Knowing 221. EE, Preliminal. Mira fell out. She'll be back. Rick Swain, Inner Knowing again. You guys are awesome. Tom. Hello. I love all of you guys because really the conscious evolution, this is an open format to share what you've got going on. And one thing, please understand, we don't all have to agree because it doesn't take away the validity of what's going on in because we have different things going on. If anything, it actually enhances it.
Right, I agree. I mean, Blue Ray Star C made a very good point, in my opinion. Do you see that in the chat? Accept the pain included and thank the universe for the experience and acknowledge you learned from it. And no need to repeat it. We choose state of mind.
Exactly. That is a perfect statement. And so obviously he understands the inner work that I know. I'm very well aware of my inner work, of my shortcomings and what I need to work on. That's I guess that's progress in itself, but it's still work. It's still work. So I mean, it made little things seem like a hammer when they were little things. It would amplify everything because it was so big. So but I'm on a different side of that coin now. Check this out. I love number syncs. I just love them. On 111, 111, that's sentencing, and they'll read the impact statements, and it's OVER. That part of that that part of that chapter of the book is over. So she'll be released from having to be so close to me. She's close to me anyway. She's only as far as my heart. So, but I don't want her to worry, but where she's at, she looks through a lens of love. So when I say worry, worrying for us is a whole different definition than what she would comprehend where she's at now. The things that she dealt with here in the 3D realm on this plane, the experiences that she got, she expanded and she took them with her, whether it was her time or it was a karmic issue or whatever was going on there. I don't know. All I know is I miss her. And I wish I could go back in time and when she was doing her laundry, I wish I was a future stepper like you there, propagate, and I could back to the future. And when she came to switch her laundry over, insist that she's just hang with me because she was leaving the next morning at 4 a.m. So I wish I wouldn't have let her, but how could I stop an adult woman from going and wanting to say goodbye to her friends? She knew she was going and not coming back, and they thought she was leaving for a couple of weeks to go help a sick relative. So she wanted to go around and say goodbye to her friends. So I couldn't really stop her, but man, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah. I mean, since you're opening up about that, my whole thing is seeing people, raising their family, and I was trying to start one at one point, and I think I told you already, I would have been able to start a family, but it didn't happen. So I don't even know why I'm breaking it up, but I'll just go ahead and say I lost a child. So that, but it's different from your situation, but it's the same, it's similar, So that's what I'm going through. So I just try to focus on positivity and, and hopefully, I can get over that.
And, you could still have more, right? You could have more children.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. But in that situation, I actually had a child, but that I ended up losing. But I'm no longer with that person that I was with. So.
Well, somebody else will come along and you'll get a family. You deserve a family. You'd be a good father. I can't have children anymore. So, that's it for me.
Okay.
I have one boy and one girl, and I should have probably had more. I don't know. I should have had a backup, I guess. That's a terrible thing to say because there wouldn't be any swap out. There wouldn't be any exchange because every child is different. They're so unique. And then there's nothing more pure than a parent's love for a child. If you want to talk about unconditional love, the love that we're to be loving each other with, think about how you feel about your child. Your child, no matter what they've done, no matter what wrongs, you still love them so purely and so completely and so fully that you will stand beside them and be there to pick them up by their bootstraps and stand them back up on their feet. That's the love. That's a pure, unconditional love. And that's how we're to be towards each other if we wanted to look at something as an example on how we should treat each other. We should be lifting each other up and respecting. And no matter what anybody's done in their past, who cares? Today is today. What you do today is all that matters.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Because that helps me out a lot. Excuse me. That helps me out a lot mentally, and I just try to stay in that field of thought because I just don't want to put no more stuff on my back. Like I said in my last few broadcasts, that when you're going through personal things already, you just don't want to just keep adding to it and just be frustrated and depressed and just like, I would be saying to somebody, how are you doing? And they'll say, I'm doing good. They said, I can't complain. If I do, then it won't help or something like that. So I just try not to complain and just try to keep moving, and just focus on good, because I want to feel good inside. I want that type of information that makes me feel good inside. You know what I mean? Not like the whole world is crap and this and that. It's just like, okay, just a tiny bit of that, just to see, just to fill out the space a little bit, but not like this ongoing pounding and pounding and pounding, like just pounding on the negative part of everything, right? Or pounding on, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and I lived enough to witness people saying this is going to happen on that date, and then that date will come and is gone. You know what I mean? And nothing ever happened, So I guess like no matter what happens or no matter what's happening, we have to find our quiet spot, our quiet place. And I know that we keep saying the same thing, but that's just what it is. I mean, I used to be what's called, people call the NPC. I used to be that myself, you know what I mean? And I used to be in those modalities where I was very depressed, you know what I mean? And I didn't realize that, okay, my negativity is quite possibly attracting other things as well. And then at the same time, something's feeding off of that. I didn't know all that then, because I was so stuck in this whole, like, the world is crap mode. So now I'm a lot more focused and manage my thoughts and this and that and the other. And I just want to talk about nothing but positivity. You know what I mean? That's just how I am right now. And to each his or her own, whatever that actually means. But me personally, I try my best to propagate light.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to answer Rick's way. He said, even if they kill someone, I still need to love them and be there for them. And I said, well, all I know is I'm not God. I'm not the judge. Whatever they have reaped or whatever they have sown out, it's up to them to do the inner work and have to go through their forgiveness and whatever they need to do. That's their inner work. But I know one thing. I don't want to sit on the throne of God. I'm not God. I'm not anybody's judge. The only one I have any say-so over is myself. Once we get that into us, and we stop pointing fingers at others, and we just start doing the inner work, then others start to all of a sudden change around us. We begin to look at them differently. I can't explain it any better way than that. Because, he says, even if I killed him, I should forgive him. Well, that's what happened with my child. She was taken. She was killed. That's what they called it. Manslaughter. She was killed way before her time. She was completely healthy and then gone by these two men that were driving the vehicles. But is it my right to judge them? No. They have to do their own karmic work. They have their own judge. And their own judge resides within them in the spiritual realm. The spiritual law is enforced when we break it against each other. When we harm each other, we're breaking spiritual law. And when we understand what the spiritual laws are and why they're in place for restoration and reformation. It's not for punishment. It is to bring us back to our first estate, to who we truly are, and to stop harming each other. Period. We shouldn't be harming each other at all. I don't know, when we get to the knowing that we look at each other and we see the equality, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what you enjoy, what's your hobbies, whatever your social recreational habits, all of that stuff. None of that, whatever you input into your body is not what defiles a man. It's what comes out. So whatever it is that we're putting out into the world, not ingesting, not eating, not drinking or any of those things, it's what's coming out of us. How are we treating each other? That is where we need to start, really zooming in the focus and to understand Yeshua's teachings or Jesus' teachings. Really look at the New Testament and look at the disciples that were with him for 3 years, learning from him. What were they learning from him for 3 years before he was taken? There was something he had that was precious, and it spread like wildfire after he was taken. Now they were scared because they took him out of the way because they didn't like what he was telling people. At first they were scared, but then they were given the the gifting of the Holy Spirit and dunamis power within them, which let them speak boldly the truth to others. And it spread like wildfire until that fire was extinguished back. I don't even know if we're in the proper 1,000-year or whatever. I don't even know if it's really 2020, about to be 2021. Who knows? Who knows? But we know that the truth was squashed out. Anybody who had any truth in them either is in hiding, they got secret societies or whatever, and they don't share this truth because it would destroy a lot of the foundational, occupational, the way that people think that we have to live in this realm in order to survive, when that's false.
Right. I love the moment of silence. Go ahead, Myrna. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was wondering. Well, it's apparent that we're going through this big shift, this great awakening, and that that there is old systems that are, we're seeing more through the veil. That we're seeing that changes need to take place. I'm just wondering how this is going to unfold in the next 5-10 years. What is it going to look like? Because we have like a couple of things going on right now. We have this awakening happening because it needs to happen, because the state of the earth itself is in peril. There's pollution, there's trash. These systems are just kind of killing Mother Earth. And at the same time, because of this light has come in, these beings are coming in, and they're coming to the end of their journey, graduating from this dimension, and they're showing the way, showing the new way, the new way that we need to live our lives in order to bring everything back into balance. So it's just going to be interesting. Like, I hope that enough of us can wake up so we meet that number of people that we need in order for this momentum to change, for things to shift, and for us to come up with ways and solutions of fixing this mess. And I just wonder how long this is going to take. And I mean, every year there's more and more people awakening, but there is a period of time that we are in right now where there's uncertainty, and we really don't know how this is going to unfold. But there are people that are tired, that've been on this journey for a long time and just want things to happen overnight or beam me up, to come and rescue me. And I personally believe that this is going to be a gradual change. What do you guys think? What do you foresee coming in the future?
I'll just say real quick, now let Awaken Activate speak on it. The way that I see things is that, yes, it'll be a gradual change. I'm just looking at my own life. I didn't propagate this light overnight. I was different throughout the years. But I've always been about peace, love, and understanding. But it took me a long time to really get to a certain point to where I can understand somebody without talking over them, and not just saying that, okay, I know what they're going to say, and just speaking. With me actually listening to people, I'm able to understand them better. And I like that, and I like being able to talk to y'all and talk to people on the streams and to understand their story and what they're going through. And I've always been in the field of what someone would call weird things happening. So other people going through the same things, and it's good to speak about it. And to finish that off, I would say that if we can focus on positivity, I think that we will definitely go into a good place. With this ME effect, it's just awesome, right? It's just like 1 minute things this way, next minute it's not, so we may be coming to understanding that the acronyms of the Mandela effect is me. And I heard people say that before, but maybe that means something. Maybe that is one of the messages in the effect itself, in the title itself. And if we just focus on our powers within, I think that we can all shift ourselves to a better place, basically, if that's even possible. But I think that may be possible because all us as affected are saying that things have changed. That's how I feel about it.
Okay, now I'll chime in on what she was talking about. And okay, it's been a few decades for me. So in the few decades, what I've seen transpire in humanity was there I was alone. I couldn't talk to really anybody except for a handful of people about what was going on within me because I would have been locked up. Okay, that was like what their thinking was at that point. Couldn't even go to a church who teaches on spirituality about these things that were going on within me that actually are listed in the Bible, many of them. But the churches that I was raised in and stuff believed that when the last apostle passed, so did all of the divine gifts. When that's false. It's just been buried so deeply inside of us, and we've been so deeply entrenched into the forgetting. But over the past 20 years, what I've witnessed is people are springboarding into this awareness, and not only springboarding, what's taken me 20 years, I can see somebody accomplish in 2 years, 3 years, 1 year, because when they open up fully. And maybe it has to do with age, or the younger ones can springboard and leapfrog into this awareness because they don't have so much layers to peel off that onion. But when you go from walking alone and questioning my own sanity to now we're talking millions, possibly billions of people going through numeric synchronicity, angel codes, seeing we're getting these affirmations all around us to tell us to pay attention to what we're thinking, what we're doing. And we're getting dreams and visions and prophetic dreams. We're getting symbolic dreams. We get dreams about inner work that we need to work on, discerning how to interpret our dreams. We're learning how to do that more fluidly. And I think people need to actually start coming out of their shell on that one too, and stop trying to interpret other people's dreams and actually get into the proactive position of helping people to discern and learn how to notice the difference between something that's a future event about to happen or a symbolic dream of something else that may be coming on, instead of Propagate brought it up about these future date setters, and they'd say they had a dream, they had a vision, and they saw this and that, and it's going to happen on this date, and da 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 da, and they put it out there, and all these people believe it, and they can, if they believe it without doubt that this person is telling them a prophetic dream and it's from the Lord, they can actually manifest this. And usually the sad thing is when they put out those kind of dreams, it's always for another country. Somebody else is going to suffer. And that's heartbreaking because we never want to be a part of creating suffering for anybody else. And so then learning how to interpret our dreams, knowing which ones are for self-work, symbolic dreams, knowing which ones are prophetic, knowing which ones are where you're leaving your body and going to the Akashic, or seeing different levels of either dimensions. You can call them planets. You can, whatever you're comfortable with. It doesn't matter. I'm not picky about that. But we leave and go to these other places, and it's amazing. It's fascinating to see what we're able to see. But we need to be talking more about that to teach people how to be able to do this for themselves, because the dreamer of the dream is ultimately the one that will receive the message. It will resonate within them. We can help to interpret, but if the dreamer of that dream is the ultimate one that has to resonate with the message that was given, because it was given to them. So it's better to teach and talk about how we can discern these different types of even that phenomena going on. And there's levels and layers of each different gift that is coming into our awareness, and it's amazing. And it's just showing us how how good can it get when we're getting instant affirmations. on things that we're thinking of, things that we're desiring, things that we're wanting, our thoughts. They're coming into our reality. Mine are coming into my reality at TikTok time. So I'm really trying to capture my thoughts to make sure that I'm only sending out the highest good for everybody. I mean, I really am doing that, but I know I'm not alone in this, because there's like propaganda. I know you may sit there and be humble, and that's okay. Humility is what will launch your gifts more. The more humble you are, the more blessings or more portions that you receive, because you will never use them to hurt another being. You're going to use them to enhance other people's lives and help them to springboard into their awareness. So that seems to be all that is desired, is unconditional love for each other and respect for each other, and compassion for our uniqueness, and lift each other up. Don't tear each other down. We don't need to do that. And this place will change. It's changed so much in 20 years. So roundabout back to her question, I touched on what you said, propagate. I seen so much happen in 2 decades. Like so much happened within so many people that I'm flipping excited. I am very excited about what the next decade will bring, or the next 15 to 20 years will bring. Because, like I said, when I seen the Mandela effect was an open affirmation of how many people are talking about this, how many people are actually coming out of the woodwork and talking about these anomalies they're seeing, these phenomena. Reality is not quite what we think it is. It's fluid. Of course, we go, oh, we jumped timelines, or we're on a different Earth, or we jumped from the Sagittarius arm over to the Orion spur. How did we do that? All of these weird anomalies. What if we thought it, we created it, and now that's where we're at. So, I mean, it's just a matter of consciousness, awareness, and where's your third eye? Your third eye opens up to the God mind, the superconscious. And when you get all 3 parts of your mind, the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious, all in unison and working as one, then we're complete. Because everything else, that won't happen unless you've already cleared your lower chakras from the red all the way up to the blue. That means your heart and everything. And then the pineal gland will open. And then you get the consciousness level of the God mind, the super consciousness, where he's been waiting for us this entire time, just to reach out and ask. He's forever a gentleman, never ever taking anything that he's given and bestowed to us away. And free will was one of the gifts and blessings that were given to us, even in scripture.
I love it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would say the same thing. Just focus not on the surface. Focus on what's beyond the surface, within yourself. Focus on who you are, the self, not the surface self, but who you are. That is more powerful than all of the stuff on the surface.
That's right. Stop worrying about the bottle and the wineskin. Okay? Let's worry about what's in it. Don't be putting mixture in there.
Exactly, or else the bottle's going to burst, especially like if you get everybody on the same page. I'd rather the bottle to burst good stuff, than to burst all kinds of yucky stuff all over the place. So what good is the place if it's going to be all kinds of... And then what are we going to do? We're going to sit back and be like, I told you so, I told you so, I told... Before any of that even happens, it's like, in my opinion, I heard that we could ask our guides to guide us in the right direction, and they won't do it unless we ask, or something like that, right? So I'm still experimenting with that, for lack of a better word. So I would say that anybody that's going through a current event or something in their life, and you don't like it, or you feel like it may be going downhill, then just ask your guides, I guess, right? And to help everybody, or even help yourself, your family, to be sure that everything is good. If I'm making any sense, just make sure everything is good, And if
Yeah,
we have
people
higher,
call them guides, higher self, angels, guardian angels. You know, and like I just said, you know, God is ever patient, waiting for us to call. Yes, we have to ask. Ask. When we ask, the answer is always yes. Just stand still, be patient. Allow it to come to you and through you. Not don't try and force things. If we try to force things, all we're doing is we're doubting. If we're trying to force it by our own strength in the three-dimensional realm, we're doubting the etheric realm. We're doubting the creator. We're doubting the abilities of our higher self. We're doubting the abilities of our guardian angel or of the Holy Spirit. We can't do that. Stand still and allow, because what is surprising is what we find is when we stop chasing after it by our own strength, um, the things that come are so fulfilling to our heart that it's better than what we could have ever imagined. What we receive is so much better than what. So when you ask, where do I see this going? Oh my gosh, limitless. We are limitless. We'll take this as far as we want to take this. We could take it individually. We could take it quantumly and collectively. We could take it in small groups and small strides. And some could be dealing with a certain situation, and then a collective other could be dealing with a completely different, but we'll still be on the same realm of existence, just different levels of that realm. And we go up and down that ladder. And that's why, you know, with the Jacob's ladder, ascending and descending, it's like going up and down that's why you have to have the red all the way up, you know, to the indigo, to the purple, cleared and open. Poof, everything is open, but you're still going to descend down, and you're going to deal with that realm, and you're going to deal with the sexual realm. You're going to deal with the sacrum, you know, your gut, your intuition. You're going to deal with your heart, the empathic, the heart expansion. You're going to deal with your throat. Your throat's going to get opened up. You're going to start speaking the word, and you're going to understand that your words have power because you're speaking in vibration from your heart between two power centers, mind you. Your third eye and your heart are the two strongest power systems that we have. One is a huge magnet. Our heart is a toroidal field that will reap back in whatever we sow out. And our mind is electronic. And so we've got this, and when we're speaking, it's right in between. So just imagine how much power you have in your sound. I think that's why when you rapped that earlier, like my hair stood up because I could just feel the passion in it. That when you were doing that rap earlier, I felt the passion. I felt the caringness of your heart. I felt the creating, how you felt when you were creating that rap. You know, I could feel it. And it was amazing. I was like, wow, this is one powerful guy. And there you were using your voice between those two powerhouses and speaking out on, you know, on a creative level of expression. And I know that Myrna also felt the power of it. It resonated right into her. So, you know, it's just food for thought on that. That's why we take our thoughts into captivity, because that's from the higher powerhouse. We also know that our heart is wicked. We need to get a circumcised heart, because when our heart gets broken, we can get mean. You know, we want vengeance. We don't want them to be happy they broke up with me or whatever, or I'm heartbroken. And that is inner work on itself. When your heart's flesh, you love everybody, even no matter what the situation. You realize it's a growing experience. Everything's an experience that we signed on, and you volunteered to come in and have this experience and to bring many people through this process just by using your voice and what you know. And I can tell when somebody is a volunteer. I know that you've argued with me about this before, but just get over it already and just know that you stood in line and volunteered. You got pushed to the front. You've been through here before. You're back again to do a job, and you're doing it. And be happy. And know that everybody here, just from your existence and what you're doing, they are getting something from it. Do you ever notice that we're not all together? We're spread out. almost like on ley lines. Um, I noticed that a long time ago that one would be way over in this state and then over in this part of the state and there, all the way through and then all throughout the world. And even with the Mandela effect, how it permeated across the world. Everybody was affected in their area by something to a certain degree of some kind of change that was acknowledged in their area. It's like you're holding space just from your existence. Even if you were to not make another video or anything, you're holding space and you're bringing people along because you are propagating you are propagating light. It's already emanating out of you, although you think you don't quite know. You're going to know. It will come into your awareness, but you're already doing it. Just as Myrna, for years before she had her Kundalini, she called it a Kundalini awakening, she was already doing the work. It's just she got a huge affirmation of it. She got something was gifted to her to give her confidence to help us remove doubt. That's how I look at it. The Holy Spirit baptism, Kundalini third eye opening, is a huge affirmation that you're already doing the work to help us to lose the doubt and stop second guessing ourselves and to move forward and start. We got to start in here. Everything starts in here. I can't change you. I can't change her. I can't change anybody in this chat. That's not my job. It's up to them because God is already in each and every one of them, ever patiently waiting, ever being the gentleman for them to ask. And the answer is always yes. And he always answers. Just like higher self, guardian angel, like we were talking about earlier.
Right, I like that. Bite the fruit of positivity. Don't always grab onto low-hanging fruit and just go off of what it looks like and it says, this is the world, this is how it all is. It could be dirty and half bitten by bugs, and you're still just thinking that that's the way of the world, and you're giving it to the next person. Hey, look, this is the way of the world, and then they're like, yeah, I trust you with the information, so I'm just gonna follow it. Yeah, this is the way. They spread it, like you said, propagate light. That's what I'd rather do. So I'll give you a nice orange and fresh. When you bite into it and you eat it, you're like, good. And you feel good inside and you want another one and you feel good and it's healthy at the same time. So I like to just be within that spiritual health. And that's what I focus on. Although, like I said earlier, in my world, there's a lot of different things that I could be worried about. And the last thing I want to worry about is more worry. And the thing I want to ask you, you are Myrna. This is what I was confused about. They say that there's nothing to fear but fear itself. But if you fear itself, isn't that still considered fearing something? Myrna.
Fear. Well, it's not. I guess just if there's anything you should fear is being in fear. So, but don't be in fear. Period. That's what I guess is the point of that message. And I just gotta say, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is my last lifetime in the third dimension. And now, after being 7 years on this journey since my awakening in the equinox of 2013, a lot of my meditation now is more about it. It almost feels like a culmination, like a reminiscing to my experience in being the spirit in this human body. This human vessel has been such a incredible journey of ups and downs, and the experiencing of the pain, of the love, the physical pain too, and the mind. It's just been a wild ride. I was born into this life. I came on a hero's journey. I was born into a very dark place, in a dark time, in a dark family, in the vibration of fear. I was literally, my first feeling was fear when I was born, and I had to climb myself out of that and get myself out of that, and I danced with the darkness. I danced with my shadow, my pain for so many years. And and then I rose above that into courage and coming from a space of neutrality, a 0 point space where you accept everything and you don't judge the journey, and then you kind of embrace it, and you see all the lessons that you learned and all the love that you felt, and it seems so real while you were in the story. And now it's getting to a point where I'm just like in contemplation and adoration of every single day that I still, my conscious comes back to this body in the morning, and I'm able to just look around and see the beauty that surrounds me, and still being able to enjoy foods. As I've been on this journey, my body has changed too. I'm not able to eat meat. I have tried it and had diarrhea right away. I don't need to eat as much. So our bodies are changing, our DNA is changing. So enjoy being in the physical body, enjoy the beauty and everything that it brings to you, the pleasure that it brings to you, and honor it and respect it, and have balance, and enjoy the ride, no matter, I don't know how it's going to unfold as a collective, but I have seen, envisioned a world that is going to be so incredible. And when I leave this body, I hope to come into that world, that higher dimension where these lower don't exist, but also my body will be more different, more light, and foods will be different, and my experience, my challenge will be different. So I guess I just finish with saying that enjoy the journey.
Okay, how do you know that those qualities will exist if you transfer over there? How do you know those qualities exist there, as far as the food and how your body will be?
What do you mean, like in the next dimension?
Yeah, you said when you transfer over to the next one that your body will be lighter and the food will be a certain way. How do you know that?
Yeah, it's an inner knowing. I feel like I have been here a long time, but I've been here through different times, and that all these lives, I've been on my soul journey. I feel like I'm ready to transcend this third dimension, and I'm already experiencing the changes in my life right now in this physical body. I don't eat meat. I'm vegetarian. And I've also experienced very high frequency. I rode a wave that was absolutely incredible in November of 2016, where I had so much energy within me that I had no need for any food. I was drinking water and only eating a few grapes here and there, and I also had no need for sleep. So it is very much possible, and I know there are other people already holding that kind of vibration and living that reality already here in this world.
Okay, that's nice to know. So you actually know people that's actually living that reality here in this world. Um, so their diet changed and their way of thinking changed, is what you're saying, for the better.
That's what happened to me. Changed my thinking, my perception, and weight fell off.
Okay. Yeah, so
But I never changed my diet. I kept eating whatever it was that I wanted. If your body's hungry and it's craving something, eat it. Just change the way you think. Don't think that it's going to go through the lips to the hips. That's what I had to get rid of, that stinking thinking. And when I got rid of that stinking thinking, I had a paradigm shift, and my doctor couldn't believe how fast the weight was falling off of me. And I said, well, you told me how to lose weight.
mm,
So it's like, and he said, what diet are you on? I said, I'm on the seafood diet. Uh-huh.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You said if my body's craving it, just go ahead and eat it. Okay, cool. I got your permission because I was just at the zoo the other day, and I was looking at a tiger, and my mouth was watering looking at that tiger, man.
Oh God, he's propagating. Oh my gosh, stop it! I knew some jokes had to come soon. It was about we were due. We were getting way too serious up in here, up in here.
I mean, that tiger did look at me kind of crazy. That tiger
Oh,
really,
yeah, you look at you like
yeah,
lunch,
and he
dude.
ran, so I was like, okay, he read my mind, but it's all good though. But you gave me permission, so I'm gonna go back to that zoo tomorrow. And you better be ready for me.
What I found interesting is I'm doing the audio books from Florence Scovel Shinn, and these are back from the late 1800s. And her last known published work was in 1925, and then anything that was published after is from students of hers based on her notes and records and things like that. But the information that she shares is so closely assimilated. It gives a lot of affirmations to a lot of the things that we're going through and that we're talking about. It's just it wasn't so in the know in the now back in that time. Now there's certain things that are in those books that I know at this point where we're at with the people that are here in the now moment that have chosen, of course, freedom, free will, uh, have surpassed. So some of the information, of course, but you'll be able to hear it and discern it and be able to, disregard the information that is dated, that is old, that is older information. But she way back then was talking about there's only one God. That resonates with me through and through because I can't. I cannot blame an outside source for the mistakes that I chose to make. I took responsibility for anything that I judged myself to be wrong or how I wronged others. If I would apologize to them for what I felt that I wronged. And 90% of the time I was approaching people with apologies, they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they've done forgot about it. They're like, but do you remember the time that you gave me some clothes, or you came over and you bought me lunch, or you brought me food, or when I was homeless, you let me sleep on your couch, or that's the things that they're remembering. But and then I'm remembering the one argument where they got on my nerves and I threw them out, and I'm feeling bad about it because I'm judging myself. And then, so do you see what I'm saying? The way people remember different things, we always forget about the random acts of kindness that we do, and we hold on to the things that we think that we have done wrong or how we have wronged others. And those are the things that we will introspect and put doubt and punish and oppress ourselves. But in truth, we're actually working on purging all that caca out, and we're going to start focusing more on all of the random acts of kindness that we do by our nature. That's our true, authentic nature. This combative dog eat dog world that we are put into, where higher education deserves this kind of pay over this person and this and that, all of this inequality, out of balance, injustices that are going on within each divine sovereign. Because when you boil this all down, each of us are unique and we're divine sovereigns. We each have free will, and we each have within us the divine. We have the ability to when we're ready, to knock on that door and it will be opened unto us. That's in scripture. Seek, knock, and you will find. So I know I revert back to scripture because a lot of times scripture is just read and it's just so misinterpreted, but it's about the journey that we're walking today. It's what we're going through. But she does talk about the one power, and I cannot put a God over good and a God over evil. I'm not going to outsource responsibility for anything that I've done by my sovereign choice. I'm taking responsibility for it. And then people will call that, okay, the dark night of the soul. Some people call it 3 days of darkness. Others call it the refinement period. different names, different labels, all for the same thing. It's all the same thing. And it is where we're purging out anything that's false about our identity, and we're allowing our truth to come and permeate and rest in us, connecting back with the divine and becoming whole, going back to our first estate where we were created as the pinnacle after the likeness in the image and likeness of the divine creator, and then given power and dominion to subdue everything on this earth, in this earth. We are actually the top of the food chain here. We're not the bottom. We're not the bottom. We're the top of the food chain on this realm. It's up to us whether we're going to pull those reins back onto ourselves, or we want to think that we are created from dirt and breath of life, just like in every animal. I do believe animals are conscious, but not to the level of conscious where they are self-aware, that they can become self-aware like we are. We can become self-aware, and to the heightened level of self-awareness that we can see ourselves as independence, as part of a collective, as connected to the creator. We can see ourselves as, I was an accountant, I was a notary, a mother, a wife. We wear multiple roles, and we can associate with each and every single one of them while still holding our self-awareness of our unique identity. So animals don't have that. Now they have the breath of life in them. And so we've been put into the level of animals. And then they're trying to say we came up from monkeys, and the Rhesus monkeys ascended man, and now he stands upright, and now he's hairless. But why do we still have monkeys? I mean, why are apes and all of them still around? Why didn't they evolution along? The stuff they try to feed us, when your eyes are open, you're like, stop feeding me crap. It's crap. That's crap. Don't feed me crap. And the discernment from higher self, Holy Spirit, God within, will show you with your ear gates and your eye gates, who to listen or when to shut your ears, when you're ready to step in front of that firing squad, so you can put out, not to argue with somebody that's talking, but just to exist in that realm, to spread your light, not to banter back and forth with somebody on a YouTube channel, but to just shine your light just by being there lurking. You can be in the background without even engaging, and you could be shining light and blessing each and every person that's in that stream, even if the information that is coming out is old dogma. Do you see what I mean? I know I went like a gazillion different places, but we've been freaking power streaming for you guys today because, I owed you guys a huge one. What do we do? 4 hours earlier, and what are we coming up on now?
3.
Another 4?
Yeah, this is
3.
Yep, 3 in 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Dang, you guys! See, I told you I owed you. I'm feeling better. I'm feeling lighter, and I'm coming back to you. I'm coming back to you because I love everybody so much, but I'm not above anybody. So don't misunderstand because I have a channel that I think that I'm anything special or anything more special than anybody else. We teach each other by sharing. Go ahead, Myrna.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much, Michelle, for this platform. We appreciate sharing my experiences with everyone, and it's very healing for me because I don't have a channel and kind of work alone a lot.
You can't say that. You got this one.
So this is really nice to be able to speak to minded people and to share our journey with others, and our love and our joy and also our challenges. So thank you so much for gosh, for your dedication to this 7 hours so far. It is 12:22 right here, the time where I'm at in Montana.
222 for you. It's not for me yet, but 222. I got two master numbers. I got 1122.
There you go.
Which is pretty darn good too. So hey, and I know Propagate shares my time. So yep.
Well, I'm just gonna.
Sweetie, my email is in the show more. It's in the description box below. I'd like for you to email me, and I know that Longreach wanted to have some communication with you, and I would like to have further communication with you about some of the things that we talked about earlier, about stepping up and being proactive into activating that in your life for others, about the BQH and things of that nature. Talk a little bit more about that offline, and if you wouldn't mind. I mean, it's up to you, but it is down. I always have it down in the description box.
Sorry, were you talking to me, Michelle? You were breaking up.
Yes, I was telling you where my email is. My email's in the description box below this stream, so you can email me.
Will
Please.
do. Okay, thank you so much. I'm gonna have to call it a night. And Propagate, very pleasure to meet you, and thank you for being here too. And have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
You're awesome, Myrna. Thank you so much for the honor of meeting you today. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Propagate. You know what? You know what time it is? I'm gonna lift up the rhythm here, and we'll go about another 30 minutes or so. We'll try and make this one a 4-hour, and then I'm gonna call it quits because I'll get tired. But I love everybody so much because everybody's so amazing, and I've had amazing guests. I've had amazing shares today. That we've went from 3D all the way up to, I think, almost the 12th dimension. Wow. Be right back.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. sound right, boy.
It's just me and you, kiddo.
All good. But I have to bust out of here like some cleavage. I had to charge my device, and I do appreciate you.
Oh, you had to do that, didn't you? You just had to do that. Can you do your rhyme one more time?
Oh wow. Oh man. Wow.
Come on. Get back in the rhythm. You can do it.
I'll just try to say, let's see here. Where can I start? So, tap into your inner knowing like 221. This is Awaken Activate. We're almost done. Thanks for wanting to stay tuned for at least 30 more minutes. I gotta charge my device. Man, I wish I can get up in it. Some more conversation thanks to Myrna. I'm about to sign off right now. You heard a lot of positivity tonight. And I'm sorry this is kind of a slow rhyme, but Awaken Activate put me on tonight, and I appreciate it. Peace out. Love and peace to the chat. And I know this last part of the rhyme don't even rhyme, but it's like that.
Subscribe to him.
Propagate this light.
Subscribe to Propagate This Light. And when Myrna contacts me, I'll put her in contact with you. I'll see if she wants to reach out, and then you guys can go from there. Whatever it is that you want to do.
That sounds good.
And you're always welcome here. Always welcome here. It's all about what we have to offer to one another.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. And I'll be in tune. Thank you to y'all in the chat for reaching out. And thank you for the positive comments. I see Inner Knowing in there. And a few others dropping some positivity. Blu-ray, Starseed.
There's still like 12. Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. But you know what? If you're going to bill out, I did put the link in. If nobody pops in, I am going to call it a day. But hey, don't worry, because I'm back. Kicking butt and taking names.
Love it. You busting the raps over there, huh?
Thank you, Propagate. And if you ever want me to visit your thing, you can just get with me and we'll work something out.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. Thank you for having me once again, and thank you to the person listening for listening. Appreciate it. Propagate light. Rock steady.
Put your link in the chat before I sign out, okay?
Rock steady. Peace.
All right. Thank you, sir. Peace. Okay. Looks like we're going to probably end this power stream because I did put the link in. If somebody's going to pop in, hurry. We have covered from what's going on in the physical, to the overreaching of power, mask wearing, power of suggestion, mind, consciousness, the powerhouses, and everybody that came on added so much information from personal experiences and also from what they've gained mastery on within themselves, from mastering how to remove chemtrails out of her sky, because she can control the elements and she's got that understanding within her, and the Kundalini awakening that she had, and Propagate is always shining a light so bright. Know this, guys, we don't all have to be actively trying to sway people into our way of thinking. It's so unique, and there is really no I'd have to say there's no wrong experience. There's no way to tell somebody that their experience is not a real experience to the experiencer. And so when we have these experiences, we also need to take into account they're suggestive. What do we believe? I experienced Jesus because I believed in Jesus, so I experienced Jesus. So, but on the same note, he was a real person. And his message that he was talking about with the 12, what they called the disciples, which were later than the apostles, spread like wildfire. And it spread like wildfire to the people he told it to the point it ruffled feathers. So And he said, in the later days, these things that I do, they will do, and more. Remember, we're the ones that we've been waiting for. You're amazing. You're perfectly made. You're exactly where you need to be. You're experiencing exactly what's going to give you the affirmations to keep us moving forward, to remove doubt and allow the truth of who we are to come flooding in. Do take care of what we put into our eye gates, our ear gates, and of course, what comes out of our mouth gate. Capture those thoughts, bring them into captivity, especially if they're thoughts of judgment or anger towards another being, because those are the things that will break the spiritual law. If we harm each other, we're breaking spiritual law. We're hurting our brothers and sisters. When Christ's entire message revolved around love. Do you want to perfect the law? Love your enemy, love your neighbor, love everybody equally as yourself. But it always has to start with learning how to love ourselves. Some of us have been trodden down so far, we don't even know how to love ourselves anymore. We've been told that we're made from dirt and that we're dirty, rotten, good for nothing sinners and we're worthless. And we don't deserve anything. And I'm going to tell you, as you walk through this, that kind of nonsense will come up out. That's the 3 days of darkness people talk about, or the wilderness journey, refinement period, when all of that nonsense comes purging up and out of us to allow the truth of who you truly are. You're amazing. You're perfectly made. You're unique. You have a purpose. And your purpose is yours solely. Whether you know it or not, you're doing it. So we don't all have to be proactive in thinking that we need to be launching ourselves or doing certain things, working in soup kitchens or things of that nature. Just being in existence can actually have such a positive effect on other beings around you. You have no idea, but you will. Because when we do leave this place, we see it all. I was on the other side. I know what I saw. I couldn't believe it. And everything on that side is filtered through the lens of love. I don't see fault in anything. There's no fault. There's no blame. There's no God that's over evil. There's no evil. Evil is something that man can choose to do if we do harm to another being. That's our choice. It's not an outside source influencing us. It's a choice. Have you ever wondered why it is people of strong faith that usually deal with possessions and things of that nature? Things that they've been taught, that they believe without any doubt, then it manifests within them? Take these things into thought. Discern everything that I say. And always, you guys, always share what you know, because we all listen and we grow. We're here in this together, and we'll move through it together. Seen a lot of progress in 2 decades, from a solo walk, afraid to tell anybody, to a huge wave of awakenings that is beyond anything that I ever thought I could comprehend a few decades ago. So we're beautiful and we're in an amazing time. Know your value, know you're precious, and I love you guys, and you will see me live more often. I want to do more of these free-flowing come on and share shows. We'll still do topic ones every once in a while, but I'm going to probably put those out in videos because I want to get to know all of you and what you can help me grow in my understanding. We offer to each other. We feed each other. We're at a banquet hall and we're each bringing our own dish that we are offering to the whole party at the table. So we dine together, we grow together, we glean from one another. So with that, I hope you guys appreciated the little song and dance thing. I'll put another one together for you guys. It's really upbeat and uplifting. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me today. And let's see, where I need to go there. Okay. And You know, I understand that we're going to get people that are going to come in and they're going to thumbs down, and it is discouraging. But we got to press through that stuff. And there's more of you that are of the nature of love and not wanting to try to make somebody feel bad or kick somebody when they're down or whatever. We never ever want to kick anybody when they're down. So when we want to reach out that random act of kindness, moreover, do we want to be doing that onto our brothers and sisters, especially when they're going through a hard time. Be the healer that you are, and know that the healing comes from cleaning the inside of our cup. And then the outside will reflect it. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace. I love you guys.